Welcome back to the Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company Session 50. Fuck yeah, we've finally reached that point where we are a serious campaign, and we're still only level 8. So, hey, we're getting there, guys. I'm proud of you. We have finally accomplished in beating, I think half of the D&D campaigns. By 75, I think we'll be the longest campaign running at that point. So, good news, we're getting there. But last time we left off with the Ironheart Merchant Company, having started session in the Genasi lands after having decided that the post the Cloud Giant fight and the attack on their ship, party decided to get some answers. Focusing most of the session around gathering the crew, laying out a plan, and figuring out the next move, James had a decision to make. A decision between Prince of the Shadows or Merchant of Death. And as he sat there wondering, contemplating in deep thought, James made his decision. As the party would begin to lay the plans, gathering their forces, figuring out what people would be doing, noting where some of their crew would be, where they were going, and setting up an escape route just in case, the party began to gather with James working away and figuring out the strategy of these daggers, as well as making these coins for his lantern. We would see Rollman going on patrols amongst the ship, watching and making sure nothing else would attack. And Cinder would find himself in the city. While Cinder was heading in to deal with what had happened with Uldren, the party would begin to contemplate and figure out exactly what to do with the Snowbeard lands and what to do next. With the realization of Pierre having some sort of ancient weapon that seemed to be extremely powerful, and the rest of the crew being eager to almost get into a fight of sorts, James had a lot to contemplate while he worked away in his smithy, and like any true craftsman, he did his thinking at his forge. While this went on, though, Cinder, heading within the city, would head down to the dungeons and meet with Uldren. Seeing Nar and Law with kind of having secured the dungeons and joining up with who they believed to be Little Scarf at the time. The two of them would head within, meeting Nar as he worked over Uldren with Hydratheon beside him. As Nar would try to get answers, nothing coming to fruition, Cinder would find himself not having to do too much to get an answer. Walking in, making a single request, and then suddenly being surprisingly met with a new force, something with purple eyes. As the party, as Cinder realized quite quickly that this individual seemed to be a strange and unique person in the game that was going on wider around the world and in the darkness of the shadows. Quite quickly, Cinder began to play as well as he could with what words he was using, trying to look for information from the creature and what it was doing. Gathering a bit and realizing that this thing seemed to be powerful enough to freeze that of a Lawbearer's champion, whatever that was, the creature seemed to give away a good bit of information. As Cinder finally watched Uldren's body collapse and basically burn out from the overuse of magic, it wouldn't take long for Cinder to turn and see as poor Little Scarf would turn into Durali, beginning to warn Cinder of what was to come. And just as expected, the party would think, one lawbearer, some ancient evil, well, what would make this even better? And as the party almost predicted, Kaijin would appear, giving away an interesting bit of information, but also a dire warning for someone who was willing to give a deal so open. As Cinder would make it back to the ship being ambushed by Kaijin, him, Rolliman, Melvin, and James would all be gathered up into Melvin's room, where Kaijin would explain a sort of deal, allowing for easy loopholes for the party to jump through, but almost daring them to try. James, being a gambling man, chose not to do this time, accepting the deal and moving forth as Kaijin left them be. As we come back, about 5 weeks later, the party during downtime has seen, with Roman mostly spending his time training, James crafting away at items, trying to desperately to make as much gear and prep the party as possible, Cinder working away at gathering up information and finishing up some minor items for himself, as well as most highlighted putting together his infamous corkboard of the Morin clan. Red yarn included. uh, the party would come back to now Melvin having kind of gone quiet. We return with the party joining up with with Cinder and James and Melvin, going to the city of Frostforge, leaving the Genasi lands, and heading to this new city. James waiting for his summons, but yet none seemingly having come during his January downtime. As we return back after 5 weeks to the year 65,007, 7 years from the Helmgrind Wars, the moon, or the month of the first moon, or January, we return on the 25th day, starting in the morning. After James having finished up all of his crafting, Cinder getting through his corkboard, and party spending about a week in the city. James particularly spending most of his downtime in the city of Frostforge, going tavern to tavern, run down slum building to run down slum building, dressed in the most common clothing he could find, stealing one of the kind of rough what do they call it, kilts of one of the rough bloods, and trimming it into basically a shirt and pants. It smelled the right scent, and it looked as terrible as could be. And as James found himself in the city learning more and more about the rumors, things began to make sense. With Stan Standerson here giving a few items as well, the two, or Cinder, Melvin, and James find themselves back on the ship, a few miles outside of this city, in what looks to be Stan Standerson's personal ship that's been built or changed over to look like a shack, while you lot have been here. So far, no one having come to bother you lot while you've been out. As you lot kind of gather in the belly of the ship, Stan himself is not with you, unfortunately. Only his or half of his crew being here to help out. Um, you know Nar and Law have already entered the city and begun an investigation. Supposedly, as you've heard, James and Cinder, that the Frostforge city has put them into a sort of court of laws. Nor, surprisingly, it has been tying them up with more litigation than they were expecting, and has almost frozen the city itself for legal battles. As Little Scarf and the rest of the little battalion go building to building, raiding slavers as well as illegal arms dealers. Um, as you lot find yourself here, the few members of Stan Standerson's crew are mostly at your disposal, none of them really speaking, only just taking direct orders. The three of you kind of sit around a table. Melvin looking a little strange, his eyes slightly hazed over, but otherwise seems to kind of just listen in and seems to be following as ordered. James and Cinder, what would you like to do?
Alright. I'll look to Cinder first. We'll be heading in, and I'll be requesting a meeting at this point. Figured they would have noticed us enter by now, but this way you don't have to put yourself at risk via that other plan. And then I will look to Melvin, who looks catatonic but standing.
Hmm?
Just follow us quietly, I think, if you want to, Melvin. You can do what you want to, as long as you don't stir trouble.
You see as he changes his form to a snowbeard and then just kind of nods as he continues still. He almost look as you look at him, James, like he's almost zonked out, like he looks exhausted and just kind of seems to be following along.
Naughty double. Got it. Thank you.
However, the disguise looks to be good enough for you as you kind of stand look at him. He looks like a commoner that would follow you around as someone to like clean your boots if you dressed as a nobleman. He'll pass.
And then I'll look to Stan Sanderson's crew. I need you all to start working the city. Spread rumors and if you haven't already, secure an escape route should we need it.
They nod.
Along with gather any information you can. The rumors should probably center around how Venkas is willing to sell anyone to keep power, to keep growing his own power.
They nod again. And I do correct let me correct myself. Stan Standerson is amongst them. I forgot that did not go with Rollerman. Um, all right. As you kind of mentioned this, though, to the rest of the crew, they seem to kind of nod, and a few of them begin to head out, immediately disguising themselves as what look to be common or snowbeards, and they begin to kind of head either right or left, running into the snow as they walk out. I will mention the breeze outside is like almost about -30. It is heavy snow on the ground. And even from here, what you can see of the main road between the city of Van Kost and Frostforge is active with merchants walking up and down it, either with frost cows or these large furry donkeys.
Oh, the furry. The woolly mules.
Yep, BK
I
man.
miss BK.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to be too showy, but so I'll bring some Hydra scales for a gift. Should be enough. I don't want to go too big. Not in this instance.
I'm gonna grab a skull to easily prove that it was a Hydra.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, one of the Hydra heads should be more than enough of a gift with some scales.
That's your plan. As you look in, seeing, I mean, you have many skulls, many of them at this point having been picked clean by the, either one of the crew members or the catfish himself, kind of cutting the meat off and putting it into Mystery Meat Friday's stew.
That's why that tasted familiar.
James suddenly realizing the slight poisoning he had felt and the indigestion all week was actually because of the Hydra meat.
James has eaten it before.
Yes, and it was poisonous before, as you recall.
Yeah.
But as you kind of sit around the table, Melvin kind of just stares at you, kind of waiting. Stan Standerson's crew, the few that are kind of still walking about the ship, seem to go about kind of setting things up, making sure to put away the pots and pans. Your own crew is kind of set off to set a few miles down. The ship kind of parked behind what was basically a mountain that has yet to be scouted, from what you could tell.
Well then. Them staying there is good because we just need to be able to make it back to here should we need to evacuate, because a few miles is nothing for an airship to cover quickly.
Give me an appraise check real quick then, if you wouldn't mind. Cinder, you can give me a spellcraft check if you'd like.
Uh,
30, nice.
this isn't with metal and stone, damn.
Nope. This is made of wood. And
Nice.
unfortunately, James, who doesn't really know wood quality and is more worried about being kidnapped or captured while in the city, mine or anything else, yeah, really is. He's going through it like the last time he was in the city, suddenly remembering how bad Snowbeard politics actually are and realizing how rough this is going to be. As you kind of, as you're looking at the wood, not really seeing anything, as you kind of mention this, James, Cinder, as you hear this, as it kind of sparks your interest, looking around, you notice the ship itself has had a few upgrades. The wood has been switched out on the outer edge of the ship and seems to be a type of wood you haven't seen before. But you notice it does seem to give almost a minor illusionary effect, as if the ship was not there. Giving it a nice disguise. You also notice that the ship seems to have almost an automated response set up to it. A large crystal set at the bottom of it that seemed to allow it to turn from this what looks to be shop kind of setup, or hideout, if you will, to back to its ship and to take off quite quickly without need for a ride or use magical device check.
Interesting. All right.
But as James kind of distracted looks over the ship, kind of planning, kind of thinking out loud that about the other about your crew being a few miles down the road and out of sight, you two kind of stand there. You see as one of the rough bloods comes kind of marching, kind of comes poking his head in, leaning pretty heftily down as he looks in on you two at the table and goes, boss?
Yes?
Letter. He kind of holds out something. Rollerman sent a messenger. Well, technically he said a message, and then we wrote it down, and then here.
I'll take it and I'll hand it to Cinder because
Yeah.
letters terrify me at this point.
Evil letters.
Yeah, he's like a what's a daimyo? You know, you always got to hand it to the second. You can't have the daimyo opening it in case there's poison there.
I will step away from James in case there's an explosion. I will open this.
like holding it out at arm's length as you like peeled a little bit of wax off of it. As you open it up, it reads, planning has gone well. James, there's so far nothing to worry about. The crew seems to be in good spirits and the morale is high. I believe this should be an easy bout. Our commanders are ready. The routes are set. I believe by this time tonight, we should have the city in our hands. As you kind of, as Cinder kind of reads this out loud, you catch that it's very to the point, very not very specific language, and doesn't seem to allude to what what stronghold they're going after. As you kind of catch the interest.
In case the message was intercepted, that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm. But otherwise, there's nothing else to the letter.
All right. Well, then, shall we get going?
Best to not waste time.
I would have had Fist stick with us because I was going to have him act as bodyguard. That should be also fairly impressive.
Okay. Yeah. As you look out, or as you look to the rough blood, and tell him to go fetch Fist, and telling him that you're ready to go, he kind of nods and starts running off at a pretty quick pace. As you kind of watch, you can't help but appreciate the fact of how much better the rough bloods have gotten since. Not only the fact of losing, coming from the Granny Apple, but now losing their brother, and they're still training and trying to keep up with Rollerman. As you watch on the
I need to reward them with gear after we get through this. They fucking earned it.
As you kind of watch that, a few moments go by as Fist comes running at his massive frame, gaining a bit more wool around him now, almost completely covered head to toe in a black fur. A few gemstones that seem to kind of dot his chest, and some bits of gold that seem to kind of line along with his very large gut. But as he comes running up, kind of looks over at you and nods and goes, "All right, Captain, let's get this done. I'm looking forward to some good food inside the capital."
I'll nod. Let's go then. And start heading out with 55 pounds of Hydra skills tucked away into my bag.
Okay.
And one of the heads. One of the skulls.
Okay. And Cinder and James, are you going to actually dress yourselves up, or are you just going to go in your normal adventuring gear?
I'm going in my armor. It's ceremonial enough and looks well enough at this point.
I mean, it's brightly colored. Yes, you are a big blue ball.
My chest is blue, my feet are red, my hands are gold, and I am here to make either money or get rid of problems. Those are the two things I'm good at right now.
I'm already dressed like a Waro, and there's no need to really change. I'm already wearing all of my gear's made of ice, like all my clothing. I mean,
got the
I couldn't
blue...
look more ruined if I...
You do look like Odin at this point. I mean,
hey man,
it's got the...
I'm short and actually, I'll have you know.
You got, because you have your staff now, right? Or are you still using a normal quarter staff? I can't recall.
He's using a walking stick.
No, it's still just a walking stick with like some like a more white wood.
Yes.
Because my casting focus has always been a thing I wear around my belt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I forgot. Yeah, with your beautiful blue chain shirt that now has like patches of great wood and little lesbian flowers growing in it, kind of glittering in the snow as you head out next to him. the two of you, rather the four of you, begin to head in as Melvin follows behind quietly, suddenly kind of picking up what looks to be one of the like a giant backpack full of cooking gear, and just seems to kind of put it on himself and just starts walking behind you. As
That's mildly concerning, considering what I probably heard Melvin consider cooking.
As you kind of watch, give me a sense motive.
I don't want to be eaten by Melvin. Should everything go wrong, he's like a cat.
That's all right. Well, hey,
Treat.
that's highlight. Good. That's good. You think of your teammates highly, you know.
Interesting.
First, he tries to sell Rollerman, and then see, Rollerman's just trying to make you proud, and now you're gonna do shit to
I'm
Melvin.
very proud of Rollerman.
Yeah, it took him taking a city for you to stop trying to sell him. 20. All right. So as you kind of look over at him, it looks almost like it fulfills the depiction of a servant. He looks like he's now carrying your personal gear. And as you kind of look at the pack, you see not just cooking utensils and what looks to be pots and pans, but there looks to be like firewood sticking out of it. What looks to be a set of whetstones kind of set in, other bits of metal kind of in there. It almost appears as if this is just part of his disguise.
Okay. Concern abated.
As you four head towards the town, as you get up to the massive mountain stronghold, a large, what looks to be almost bridge between between a crevice that goes miles deep as you look down into the ground. The sounds of pickaxes and what sounds like singing coming out from down below, quite clearly pulling on the cold wind that seems to blow up from the cavern. As you look on, the wooden bridge itself seems to have a long line of heavy mules, some carrying what looks to be cloud giants, some carrying what looks to be small dragons that are going towards the city. Others look to be just snowbeards with piles of different metals or rare types of gemstones. Seem to be kind of lining up on this long bridge. Though you watch, James, as you kind of come up to it, it seems to sway. None of the people standing on it seem to at all be bothered by the bridge itself.
From my understanding, nobility would bypass them as they're technically lower, correct?
Give me a knowledge of nobility. Or a knowledge history, I'll take either.
It's been so long since he's acted as a noble.
It has. I think Cinder's trying to help you, though. Lighting my pipe. Okay. What are you putting in it out of curiosity, Cinder?
First go is Rosman Flowers. We'll go from there.
Alright.
Knowledge, nobility, 10.
Okay. Cinder, give me a fortitude save real quick.
God, Cinder's bad.
Look, only if I roll bad, Cameron. I have a high fortitude.
Let's say, Druid
You're
should.
also technically immune to poison.
Never said
I
it
am
was poison.
You never said it was poison. Hey, look at that.
21, okay. You gain 5 temp HP.
Sick.
As you begin to smoke, you also begin to feel your intelligence beginning to drop while your wisdom grows and your eyes begin to glaze slightly. You feel a bit more relaxed though as you follow after James. Alright, James with a 10. As you kind of look on, James, you don't see anybody passing anyone else, but you also don't see any noble banners that you recognize immediately. Watching for a second, you kind of think, and as you look about, you notice that there doesn't seem to be a line in the middle of the bridge. There's 2 separate lines, one to go on the far right to go towards the city, one on the far left that seems to be coming off and leaving the city. I mean, it's a good chance you could try something if you thought but you're not sure 100% if the city will accept you.
Uncle, quick reminder, because I've been acting as merchant so common for too long. Nobility need not wait in line, right?
Cinder, it has been a long time,
Dude,
and you never left the city of your own accord, except when you were a child, and you had guards that did all that.
I was about to say, I think I've been out of the noble circuit for twice as Cameron's character has, if not more.
So, Cinder, as you think about it, could be not.
I just stare at him for a second and go, I haven't been back here in about 55 years now.
Fuck.
What are you gonna do, James?
Walking up the middle.
Okay. As you start to go through the center, a few merchants seem to scoff and spit at your direction, but none of them seem to do anything or stop as you continue kind of pushing through. It's just the four of you on foot. There's no wagon with you, so, you know, that does kind of allow you a bit more wiggle room as one of the carts passes by on the side a little bit faster. As you see what looks to be a banner on the side of it leaving the city of a large black rat on a diamond blue background. As you start to
recognize that sigil?
With a 10, I'd say it does look familiar to you. Yeah. Give me a charisma check real quick in the background while I explain this. Just for something, because that's a good point, Roland. Thank you. Even though you're not actually here, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see what you got, James. See how confident you can look.
Play with this really quickly.
If you got an idea.
But I'm not risking it.
Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, as you watch it, James, you recognize this clan actually only because of the fact of your experience in Greg's Martyrtoms lands. Amongst the Grey Rats, this banner hung like a little bit higher, denoting that this was a higher ranked clan and most likely the senior clan to the Grey Rats themselves. You remember the name roughly being something along the lines of Large Rat, but not much else about the clan other than the fact they are similar to the Grey Rats in being very greedy individuals and gold focused.
Okay, an easy clan to get under my wing if I need them then.
But as you continue kind of walking through, kind of puffing out your chest a little bit, slowing down your gait, and kind of as you walk past people, kind of looking them in the eyes as the merchants kind of look away from you almost as soon as you do. Sorry.
One to charisma.
Melvin, something was just sent to me. All right, got you. Alright, as you kind of look up at them, each of them kind of looking at you, as soon as you lock eyes, they seem to look away, almost kind of a feeling of the power or the rank you have as you push through. One after another, as the four of you kind of bypass everything, finally getting to the gates, you see as two frost dwarves look up at you, both having very short beards, denoting their youthfulness. Very simple, what looks to be leather armors. Their gear almost 100% like leather and a mix of bronze. Both of them holding glaives that you can almost immediately see the masterwork of them just from a quick glance as you look up. These guards look to be somewhat well armed, but not very experienced at a first look, as they kind of stop you, one speaking immediately in Dwarvish and going, "Oh, what clan do you think you're part of?"
My name is James Dreg. I'm with Clan Frostbuster and Treasurehorn. I'm here to see the elder of my clan.
And you see as he kind of pounds his gauntleted fist hard on the wooden gate, and a small little slatch opens up as some eyes look through, and the young Snowbeard seems to, not quietly, but not at a normal speaking tone, seems to look up towards it and say something along the lines of, he says he's some Frostbuster Treasurehorn. Do we have one of those? The old guard the guard side seems to kind of close the latch, smack on the door 3 times as the gate begins to open, as this a little bit older looking Snowbeard, whose beard seems to go around mid-stomach, kind of comes walking out, heavy iron armor, and what looks to be a palladium blade on his hip that's slightly out of the scabbard, as his hand kind of rests on it, looking as if he's prepared. You can give me a knowledge history if you'd like, or nobility.
I'll go history with this because I would have had to come here at some point when I was younger for anything.
True.
One.
Not at all. This looks to be a commoner. Doesn't look like anybody that you'd recognize personally. In fact, though the only thing that catches your attention is he is a frost dwarf as well, which does not make sense as the frost forges usually only employ glacier dwarves amongst their rank. Snowbeards being very racist against other snowbeards.
Taking note and just keeping a straight face then.
As he walks forward, the Snowbeard kind of steps up, his blade just slightly out of the hilt, just enough to ease for an easy grip. As you note, the cold probably would catch it on its sheath, kind of catching your attention almost immediately to tell you that sheath is not well oiled. As you kind of watch this, James, the old Snowbeard kind of walks forward. Is a very clear frost appearance of his beard being a little more blackened in color rather than icy, only having white tips on it as he looks over towards Cinder and then looks at you and goes, "Alright, what's your business here? Because the Frostbusters have been removed from the clan politics, and so have the Treasure Horns. None of them hold rank."
Aye, but I have it on good merit that I am the next heir for my entire clan, and came to see the elder of it. You know, the personal smith to the Frosthammers?
Looks at you and goes, "I don't know who you think you are. We get thousands of people claiming to be other important individuals. Unless you've got something of a power of office or something to catch my attention, I think that you should be on your way to back to the line."
I will produce... Actually, I do have 3 things I could pull here. I'll turn my hammer and point out I'm also known as James Ironheart of the Ironheart Merchant Company.
He just rolled a net one, and he looks up at you and goes, "Never heard of you." Wait, he's he's part of that Golden Heart fellas, as he looks back at you and goes, "I heard about him. He likes to screw frogs." As the guards seem to kind of give a chuckle at that as he looks back at you and gives a smile and goes, "James, you can tell he's making fun of you."
The smile of calm that's on James' face should be unsettling.
He doesn't seem to care.
I am also marked as a hero by Regan Utham. And I have a letter stating that I have backing from the I have to say this right, Elemental Imperium?
Primordial Imperium. Emporium.
Primordial Imperium, sorry. Primordial Imperium. God.
He looks up at you and goes, "Oh, a fancy piece of paper. Let me guess, you got a name card too?" As the 2 younger guards at the gate start laughing again, and looks at you and goes, "Sonny, you're not getting in here unless you've got something to actually prove who you are. And the last James that came through here proved to be fake. We put his head on the spike." Yes?
Yeah, it's my understanding. Obviously, insulting nobility is very bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do Warroans usually act when they're basically noble sires being insulted right in front of them? What's normal? I know they're a crazy bunch.
You can give me a knowledge history check if you wouldn't mind.
The lower int's not gonna help, but it could be worse.
Gotta come with something before James hammers some guy off this poor bridge.
Oh, I won't hammer. I'll throw him.
You probably have a better chance of catching him with your hands than that hammer, to be fair.
22.
22. Roughly, from what you can recall, if you are a Warloan in the service of a lord, if someone insults the person you're serving, it's like insulting your honor, which is to basically say you are nothing better than a commoner. Warloans, a lot of time being mixed birth, not necessarily always nobility, or if they are, they're lower rank nobility. It's kind of a touchy subject for most of them, and they're more known to be easy to tick off. It's not uncommon for people to be killed for that. It's also not uncommon for nobles to just kill commoners because of the fact of irritation. But again, if you can't prove your nobility, that can bite you in the ass.
I'll just kind of puff my pipe and stare at the guy. Rather not you cause any trouble for a noble.
Kind of looks at you and goes, "A noble, and what are you? I haven't seen your kind around here." As he looks you up and down, as he kind of steps forward and gets up into your face, Cinder. Roughly,
How
as you
close
kind
is it
of
to the edge of the bridge?
I mean, this bridge is about 45 feet in width, roughly. So, I mean, being in the center would be roughly about 22-ish feet. So, from the side. As he looks at Cinder, as you kind of get an idea, his beard's about roughly the same length as your own. Guesstimation, he looks about to be your age.
I'm a Rowan in James's service. I will say again, I'd rather you don't cause any problems.
A War Owen, as he looks you up and down and goes, "Let me guess, that blue ice isn't going to melt as I poke it with my sword?" As you see his men begin to cackle and laugh again.
I said, yeah, it won't.
Alright. What'd you say? Go ahead.
However, if you do it, and it doesn't melt, I might kill you. Don't take insults lightly, but be my guest.
Roll intimidation.
Actually, I have ranks intimidation.
As you look over, you can see James's eyes are starting to calculate the range from the bridge as he's looking at the guy, looking at the other two guards.
I'm calculating the range from the bridge. I'm calculating on if Fist can throw him far enough.
I almost assure you he can.
What was that, Cinder?
21.
21. As you look him in the face and kind of like say this calmly and quietly, he looks. You see his eyes kind of dart over to James and eyeing him for a second, and looks back at you and goes, "Fine. You know what? Let the nobles deal with you. They'll kill you if you're a commoner, anyways." He looks back at his men and he turns around, kind of fixing his belt a little bit as he adjusts it and looks at them and goes, "Let them pass. And let the Frosthammers know who's coming here." As he looks back at you four and goes, "The supposed Frostbuster heir." As he starts to kind of walk away, the gates kind of fully opening as the inner ones also begin to open. James, you can see they're letting you through.
I'll walk through with my little group. Although I'm making note of these three. Mm-hmm. Insulting me is not going to be light.
As you kind of
James
look,
is in full noble mode.
Yeah, as you kind of look at them, watching, you kind of keep studying their face the best you can, kind of keeping track of the time that it's early in the morning when these were on shift. Damn, a roaring dragon in the distance, apparently.
That's normal.
I know, right?
Yeah, this is normal. We're near the border.
But as you head into the city, it begins to open up as you see this rather large and almost surprisingly tall stronghold sitting into the side of what looks to be this massive, thick mountain. The city itself opens up to be halfway outside where you can see the daylight, many of the roofs having gardens of what looks to be things that are already sprouting with colorful bright and vibrant reds and purples from the tops of the roof, or from the rooftops. What looks to be almost a domineering fortress at the very far back of the stronghold, recognizing that as where the Frosthammers make their home inside this stronghold. Noting from James's own experience as well as Cinder that this stronghold goes deep into the mountain for miles that you already know of. Most of it not allowed access unless being one of the Frosthammer clan members. As you look through, though, the Frost Forge itself looks to have only a couple of large buildings that stick out. One being a massive icy white tower that seems to almost stick out on the far side of the wall, dwarfing the walls themselves almost at 75 feet in height. You can see what looks to be the sigil of a strange creature upon it, a large ball-like creature with a big eye at the center of it. Noting that as roughly the direction for the Warrowan College. As you look about, there's a few shops, but a lot of the businesses look to be clan ran. Many of them having what looks to be signs refusing service to one clan or one type of dwarf or another. As you kind of look about, the city seems to be filled with a mix of frost dwarves, glacier dwarves, pretty much almost every species of dwarf you'd expect, but as well cloud giants and frost giants, as well as a few kobolds that seem to be going about. As you kind of look about, seeing the banners of the frost hammers everywhere, it almost feels like someone's watching you as you kind of walk through.
We expected this, we were warned of this, so we're just going to, out of my own personal knowledge, where would my grandfather, my grand elder, I was gonna say this
Grandsire.
Yeah, grandsire Emma, be? Would I be heading towards the castle, or would he have a private workshop in the city?
No, it'd be in the castle itself. Someone of his skill would be too valuable to chance being killed amongst the peasantry and commoners. Also, of his age, it would take him almost days to get to the castle if he wasn't living inside it.
Then we're walking to the castle. If there's a food stall on the way and Fist wants a snack, he'll have some coins.
Fist is just going to kind of follow behind you quietly as he watches. I mean, he's on bodyguard duty as he doesn't say anything, just kind of standing beside you, making sure to look intimidating. Kind of dwarfing a lot of the, snowbeards.
Dwarfing the snowbeards, which are based on dwarves.
Yeah, as you lot kind of walk through, it's almost. Give me a spot and listen check to see if you notice or hear anything as you lot move about.
Are we getting the spell boost, or are you holding off on those for right now?
You think I have that spell prepared?
What I'm asking, if it's no, it's no, it's good.
No, not this time. Listen.
Okay.
25, okay.
And then...
Spot is 12.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, I physically can't roll lower than you on spot.
Damn. This is why you got Cinder, though, here as your eyes and ears.
And listen is 17.
I mean, as the two of you kind of start walking through the town, there is a bunch of, a lot of commoners kind of speaking. Some strange rumors kind of seem to be almost profligating? Yeah, that probably, I think that's the word. Proliferating, that's what I'm looking at for. As you hear, many of them seem to speak on two main subjects. The first seems to be of this thing called the red disease. Many of the merchants and commoners seem to be whispering in quiet about the subject, but as you walk through the town, it sounds like there is you get roughly that there is some sort of disease coming from the northeast of the territories of the Snowbeard clans, mostly as many of them note seemingly coming from the battlefield where the Red Snow War concluded. Noting that for the players, that Red Snow War was the war against Sarazeki and his group.
So there's a chance it's a curse from a dead god. That's great.
The second bit of information you get is that there seems to be whispers of somebody named the Ironheart planning a conquest of these Snowbeard lands, and that the commoners are beginning to be recruited into many of the armies. Almost each of the clans are beginning to gather their forces, except for the two rat clans, who are stated to have... from what it sounds like the commoners are saying, have already packed up and began to run. But otherwise, nothing else kind of catches your attention as you're listening into the kind of conversations for what you two hear. Cinder specifically, as you catch, one of the things that catches your attention, Cinder, is there's a comment one of the farmers says that catches your ear as he goes, "Yeah, I just came from Hard Helm. They seem to evacuate, and the leader of the stronghold told all the farmers and merchants to run." As you kind of catch that, it doesn't take long as you kind of think, Cinder, about how this might have been a trap for James to get captured. But as you think, no one should have heard that Rollman was attacking that stronghold. Only you lot knew about it. Um, as you continue to look about, watching, I will note that as you notice, almost all of the guards around the town as you walk through are all looking to be frost dwarfs. None of them seem to have the glacier appearance.
Something ain't right.
James and Cinder, from your own history, this doesn't take much being you grew up as nobility. Even your own family preferred glacier dwarves most often amongst their ranks, because even amongst the servants, as it's more of a culture thing. Not really wanting servants that were of other races, as many of them wouldn't understand the rights or causes, or may have a reason to rebel and stand for another clan. It was both a danger as well as kind of a show of ranking that you had your own people as a servant.
Look, this is all strange, but I'm also giving, from my spot like slightly behind him and to the side, I'm giving James appreciative glances. I didn't know he already had the conquest ready. Man, my nephew's planning way ahead.
James doesn't even know. I didn't even hear that. Nope.
James thinking, I didn't pre-plan the conquest. This is kind of spur of the moment because people keep touching my shit.
You didn't even hear it, so you can't think anything.
Right.
But
My
as
listen was higher than my spot.
I know. Some overlord type shit, right? As you continue going through the main street, kind of following it down, the main shops that seem to be on kind of shown on the main street, which James and Cinder, to your own understanding, would mean these are the most prominent shops or most wealthy families that are capable of actually owning property and selling, owning the right to sell on the main road. So you kind of walk down the main road, seeing these businesses. The first you catch is the what looks to be an adventuring guild as you pass by, called the Exiled Tavern and Guild. Kind of looking in the window, you can see the words Exiled Tavern and Guild written on it. And it looks to be, a traditional adventuring building. You see what looks to be a large barracks-like stronghold that seems to have been built out across a couple blocks. As you look in, though, kind of catching your eye, it's not hard to tell that the tavern part is definitely a recent and very shoddy addition. As you look in, seeing much of it being cheap wood that's falling apart, stuff that doesn't look up to a dwarven construction or a dwarven craftsman's practice. She kind of will look in, seeing a few of the adventurers in there, many of them looking to be drunk snowbeards that are just kind of sitting around, though wearing what looks to be decent gear from a quick glance, almost all of it masterwork. As you continue passing by... Huh?
How, just by the quick shoddy construction, I can guess this was built, I'm guessing, in the more recent months?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look like the building was designed to originally have this, what looks to be a tavern to it. But as you kind of note that and pass by, you do see in the window a sign that says the Eyed Hammers are recruiting. Join those who care about the community.
The Eyed Hammers?
Yes. And I will put that down for the name if you need that, just in case.
So common sense thought that this... Oh, no, Cameron, I know. No, Cameron, I'm fully aware.
Yeah.
I know. It's... are we seeing a resurgence of Saraseki worshippers rising up again?
Good question.
Is this round two?
It is a good question.
Round 2 Electric Boogaloo. I'm gonna knock him fucking out again.
But as you pass kind of by, continuing down the street, an armor shop comes up on your left as you walk over, kind of checking it out, called Bones Bane Armor Emporium. Kind of looking in, it looks like a lot of the gear looks to be made of either some sort of silver, and you can clearly see from a quick glance, a lot of it seems to be poison or disease resistant or immune outright. Much of it seemingly dealing with acid, either having acid resistance or seemingly almost outright immunity. As you look in, seeing what looks to be a young-looking, very wide snowbeard. They look to have almost light brownish skin and darker brown hair. You'd recognize this as one of the subcultures of golden dwarves that mostly are an Underdark clan that specialize in finding rare veins of metal. They aren't traditionally known to be very well recognized amongst many of the other clans, and the only clan that claims their descendants are the large rats, from your own knowledge. But as you see the person kind of working away in there, they seem to be hammering away at what looks to be a heavy piece of armor, almost a full plate looking attire that seems to have these strange markings all across it as he kind of works on it. The occasional look of what looks to be some sort of skull trying to pop out of it as a magical aura kind of catches your glance as you look over, and then suddenly kind of blink and it's gone.
You said acid
Spellcraft to recognize?
Yes. Oh, so
You
one
said-
question at a time, Cinder. Would you ask?
Go ahead.
You said it was they were making your resistance of acid,
Poison and disease, correct.
Okay. I'll roll something after Cameron because I'm curious about something as well.
Okay, what's up,
Spellcraft
James?
to recognize the magic that he's trying to put into that full
Yeah.
plate?
Give me a spellcraft, yeah. What's your question as well, Cinder, while he rolls it?
I was gonna go the broad role of what the hell are they prepping to fight that they specifically need those 3 things?
Oh,
'Cause-
you don't have to roll for that. I can tell you. So for your own note, the Frostforge city is known to specialize in killing undead. They are like this is like their whole thing. They make gear to fight necromancers and undead creatures. So this is quite normal, just to kind of keep that in mind. And then 11, James, you have not seen this magic before, and that's almost entirely terrifies you, as this is not magic that you recognize. That leaves 2 options from your own experience, which is the supposed rumored time magic that some dragons were supposedly had, which is completely rumored to not actually exist, and it's just more of a joke theory. Or this could be the soul magic that your people are somewhat famous for.
Both options horrifying. Okay. Moving on.
No worries. I will say, Cinder, for the acid damage, if you are curious, you can still roll if you want to see if they are actually building like in a decent amount of armor compared to a normal shop.
Yeah, because I thought I was sitting there like, well, everything's that, and I think normally high pressure. Why would all of it be? Are they prepping to fight now with all the mercenary companies around? Like,
That's a good question. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Give me a. Let's see. I'll just take I'll take a wisdom check in this because you don't have any professions that I think fit to this. So this would be just something out of wisdom to see if this is something you recognize from James's experience as a merchant. Is it normal to have this much armor for that specialized? 11?
+9.
Damn. As you kind of think about, I mean, it's a little bit more, and the fact that they are specializing, it's a little strange. This is the best shop, as you kind of, or as James kind of mentioned on the walk-in, is that almost all these shops are going to be like the top of this noble families. It could be just that there's so many like craftsmen of undead that this just happens to be, why they're up here and they're making a bulk amount because, well, I mean, as you look about, it looks to be that they're preparing for something. There looks to be a lot more guards amongst the city, but I mean, it's not an exorbitant amount, nor does it seem to be a unique factor to the city. The only thing that you do kind of catch that is strange is the acid damage, because that seems to kind of... There's not many undead that are known to use outright acid attacks, as you kind of think. That's more like an ooze thing.
I can think of one that has an acid bite, and that's it. It's not...
As you kind of put 2 and 2 together, it seems almost as if maybe they're prepping for something in secret in an idea. Like, there's some sort of something going on like that they expect, but they don't want to show it clearly. Acid kind of makes sense for an undead. I mean, if you think about going into dungeons and tombs, but... As you kind of think, it seems almost draconic, like they know something about the dragons or something is coming, or maybe one of the giants. It's just something's bugging you about it.
I gotta look at the map. Shit.
Okay.
Where's the updated map?
Probably not in there. I don't know if I've updated since, but I don't know.
You've sent it to me before. Don't worry
Fair.
about it.
But as you kind of, as Cinder kind of looks about James, not really recognizing this magic, but seeing the large rat clan sigil inside the shop, this looks to be one of their shops.
They're less likely to move against me, but not allies yet.
True.
Stepping in there could be a trap.
As you
And
look over, you do
Morning.
see the gold dwarf that was sitting there, the larger male that seems to be working about him. His very short beard seems to almost lock eyes with you as you kind of look over and start kind of thinking out loud, quietly to yourself, of course, but still, as Cinder kind of listens in.
I'll meet his gaze. Sense motive.
Okay. Give me a sense motive. What are you trying to sense?
Enemy or ally?
Okay. Cinder pulls out his map and starts kind of looking over things with his finger, kind of pointing at it.
Damn it! This.
James, you're not sure.
Rolls.
You're not sure if he's hostile. You're not sure if he's an ally, but you are sure that if you were a merchant, if you were a store owner, and some random an individual that's dressed like a noble was just standing there looking at you for a few minutes, you'd probably also look up and wonder what was going on.
Yeah, it's time to move on. I'll lead my little group further down the street.
Yeah, kind of going to find a little table that's been set outside of what looks to be an open tavern that hasn't opened yet. As Cinder kind of sets out the map and starts trying to look over and show you something. I assume, Cinder, you found something. Let's see if Cinder, did you find what you're looking for?
Yeah. So, I remember that I think there are 2 dragons with acid breath attacks.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's not on continent, but I think Ayla has a acid breath. And she's not that far away, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a racist bitch.
She is. No, she's very known to be racist, yeah.
Something to think about. As you look, as Cinder kind of pulls out the book and starts pointing to the different Dragon Lords' territories and points them out, pointing towards the bottom corner of Selsica, as you see Selmica, as you see where the mystical swamp dragon lives. As Cinder kind of points to that, and then looks over and points over towards where the Shadow Dragon's territory has popped up.
It'd be foolish for them to pick the fight first, but if it comes, they'll be ready.
Well, they might pick the fight first. That's the problem.
Melvin is going to look at you and in a very almost zombie-like voice is going to kind of speak. And it sounds almost like his voice, but it begins to sound like it's being puppeted. As you hear the creature, or as Melvin speak and him go, what if the plan is for these creatures, the ones who serve that Kaijin fella, are planning to cause the Snowbeards to go to war with the dragons? Maybe the giants and the dragons and the Snowbeards will fight with each other. With them will be dragged in.
I mean, we've already seen that starting in the other countries.
Yes. Especially in the Stone Giant ones, they were extremely worried given their close proximity.
As Melvin kind of goes silent and his eyes still filmed over, just kind of stare at you blankly. Fist kind of... Yeah, go ahead.
This feels like it's not Melvin at this point. And I know his backer can do this because he's puppeted his voice at me before. So
you guys sense motive, Lord Z?
No, I trust Lord Z not to fuck me over right now.
Maybe he's trying to help you. But as you Melvin kind of
out of appreciation.
As you nod, Melvin just sits down and Fist just kind of slightly rubs his chin beard and kind of looks at you and nods and goes, as he points at the map and goes, oh shit, I rolled that 20, fuck, alright,
yeah.
Fist looks at you and kind of points at the map where Rolman is at for Hardhelm and goes, if what we know is true, kind of looks down at you and looks back up, or looks down at the map again and goes, my guess is that whoever's waiting for us is probably waiting for us in Hardhelm. I'm guessing that Rolman probably just walked into a trap with an army. Guessing probably an army of nothing but newbies and easy to kill people. Or, prisoners. My guess. I mean, that's what I would do. And then surround it with a bigger army, lay siege. If the castle's not done, like Odger mentioned before he left, there's a good chance that that place won't be defensible. Roloman would be basically a sitting duck with an army less than what he'd be surrounded by. He'd end up having to fight the leader or die. And also,
Roland will be smart enough to stall then.
that also means if he's smart, that there is going to be all of our enemies are going to gather around Roloman because they're going to think you're there. Because it wouldn't make sense for you to walk into enemy territory and try and treat with the enemy, especially the enemy that hates you the most. Out of the Venkos, the Frosthammers seem to dislike you more.
So out of game, you mean we have stumbled in by making the worst possible decision into a good...
Well, not for Roloman.
Into the...
Roloman might die.
I can't say anything otherwise. I'll work his death leg.
No, because it's 100%. None of those things have been rolled yet. That's all post-session stuff. So, but as Fisk kind of looks down and goes, if James is held in Hardhelm, and the Venkos have an army down there, they walk in, kill your grandsire, or basically keep him away from his clan, and then slaughter the clan to make sure there's no one left, or reward it to another bastard. No one's the wiser. No one's going to support you if you have no clan. Snowbeard politics are pretty simple in that aspect, so makes sense. And if Roloman has no claim to a clan to basically keep liberty and loyalty of or the honor of the other clans, well, then what's to stop all those Snowbeards from just charging him and killing him for having no honor?
So what I'm hearing is we got our one chance here today to take advantage of the fact they're not going to expect us to be here.
He nods and goes, I mean, would you walk into the maw of a woken dragon with a breath weapon readying? I mean, I know I wouldn't. You'd have to be insane or extremely powerful.
I look at myself and I look at the same. I look back at him because it's handling what we're doing literally right now at our own discretion.
He nods and kind of nods at that and goes, no, if I was thinking as a Frosthammer right now, and I'm not saying I know Snowbeard politics personally, but if I was in their shoes, I'd think James is either believes Roloman's a god, and that he has a backing of something, which, in all fairness, his reputation speaks for him even here, I imagine. James may have the upper hand in a bluff. They may think he is like some basically newborn conquester, and that may put pause to any plans. And the Frosthammers don't want to lose any lands if James is the next king. Be smart for them to hold off and do anything, and just watch if he's here.
Well, then I guess I should have gone for the bigger bluff.
No. It's the fact that you didn't walk into the Venkos territory that you can hold this, because it still looks like you're not stupid. This isn't a bluff because you went to their allies. It's smart. And you're going around, you're basically making the Venkos poisonous. Anybody who touches them has to face Roloman's wrath. And Roloman taking a stronghold at the same time would show basically your position. It's entirely brilliant, but amazing how lacking you are for someone of a strategist. As I heard Odger over talking with Roloman that you got the strongholds wrong. You almost sent him to death, by the way.
James gently puts his head in his hand. Never really led an army. That was kind of left out of my training.
Odger Senior?
You know,
even I know him. A long time.
Fist nods.
Fumbled the names. Oh, I'm an idiot sometimes. Oh well.
Luckily, they figured out Hardhelm was the target. 1,500's a lot easier than 25.
No. Although, good thing in all of this, even if the people in this city are avoiding, just watching to see what happens, I doubt any of their best are going to be ready or even in the city. This is probably our one chance.
If they are,
we could put a good guess as to who will probably be the first one to march on the fallen Hardhelm.
He nods at that and goes, and if they are in here, they're going to be in that stronghold waiting for us.
Well, if they are, we never had a chance and we can run. If they're not, we take full advantage. Not much else to do at this point.
Check out the shops, make sure if we can glean any interest or anything of value for us about the city. Continue on our way.
Well,
it's most likely a trap. That tavern back there was freshly built within the last few months.
They also have a mercenary company here who's very obviously in some way beholder laden, and they're making acid resistant gear for some reason.
Nods at that and goes, sounds like there's more going on than maybe we know about. Means that no matter what, we have to come out with information. Otherwise, well, the commander won't do very well. My advice, if I had to think about it, is I think we should just walk in after confirming that your grandsire is alive and challenge the Frost Ambers to combat. But Loxodon politics are much simpler.
Yeah, I think I'd get my ass kicked in that instance.
Actually, the Frosthammer leader. So I know Odger's known to be very strong. Is there anything known about how strong the Frosthammer leader is? Like, is he a combatant? Is he not?
Well, the highest ranked members of this clan are known to be basically like the equivalent of Rollermen. They are known to be monster hunters who basically are very good at doing that. They live for battle. Otherwise, the Frosthammers are known as craftsmen. So, but they don't have a name like a notable or named member amongst their clan. Even their leader has never been a famous individual. As you think on it, Cinder, it would take a lot to try and remember his name.
Either he's avoiding being named for some reason advantage, or he's not super notable in terms of strength, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, there's also the option to challenge him to a crafting.
It's true, as you kind of think about it.
And that I have a hellfire chance to win.
As you kind of look over the map and looking at it, you see as a couple of guards seem to kind of walk past and seem to kind of note you a lot, kind of keep looking at you and seem to be eyeing you up and down, though they continue on with what they're doing, continuing on their patrol. You do notice that one of them keeps looking back at you a lot and seems to be saying something as the other just continues to walk.
Let's make a move out of this to make it seem like we were looking for something else, though, I guess. Thank you, Horowin, for informing me of these interesting comings through your visions from your lost eye.
Just not.
Give me a bluff check, James. Unless you have perform actor, which I'll take as well.
Don't have that.
All right,
that'd be so out of field. I wish he did.
I was gonna say.
But as I say this, I'm going to quickly, and this is going to be a very swift thing that I'm doing, because I'm pulling it out and putting it back in at the same, basically right as I say it, after I finish saying this, to boost this to a +6. The Constitution swapped out here.
Okay.
Hello, curse.
Give me a second. Because I don't want to be declared a cheater for this, so let me make sure that this gets posted. Okay.
Whoa.
James! Cinder, even you can feel the aura of the magic coming off this item as James pulls one of the daggers and the immense magic coming off of it. As it begins, James suddenly growing, almost growing in power as he does, his body weakening, but you can sense his magic seemingly growing stronger, even without a roll. It is so potently changing. As you look about, Cinder, with your listen check from earlier, as well as James, you both notice that something in the background seems to make a light ringing noise towards the castle, but otherwise, as soon as James pushes the dagger back in, the sound seems to dissipate.
Well, I got good news and bad news. I think you just told everyone in the castle we're coming.
They already know.
No, but I think you just told them, like everyone in the castle. I felt that.
I didn't. Belt might be very cursed. Note to self, don't pull the daggers.
We already knew that.
As I will tuck
James'
it
body
under my
regrows.
armor a bit.
Yeah, his body begins to re-expand, the sickly whiteness that took over his body for a moment, that vanishing.
I mean, someone just rang a bell to warn for something. This might be a fight.
As you look over, Fist and Melvin seem to kind of both be almost on alert as they look down the street watching to see if anything happens. And we're going to take a quick second before we move on to be right back for those watching as the DM has a phone call coming in and he will be back in a moment. Turn back. Hello, we return once more to the session. Alright. Yes, so as you lot kind of sit at the table with Fist and Melvin looking down the street, waiting and watching, James, you were saying something. I apologize for cutting you off.
It's fine. I was just gonna say we should probably continue on our way then, checking shops as we walk and towards the castle.
Okay.
Which now might be an execution grounds for what just happened. I'm not sure.
I felt the aura of a god back in Lutheran. Like, I saw a god and was able to get a chance to feel it, right?
Yes, correct.
Comparing the strength of that to whatever that fucking was when he unsheathed the knife.
It would be roughly the comparison of a 3rd level caster to a 9th level caster.
Like, in terms of spell level or in terms of they are a level 9?
Spell level.
So demigod's probably not far off.
I will, but as you kind of stand up, as James kind of looks at Fist and Melvin, and both kind of following suit, Cinder, a little worried look on his face as he puts away his map in his book. As the 4 of you start walking on, Cinder and James, give me another kind of a spot and listen check.
Well, these are both the same bonus, so I'm just gonna do this faster.
Let's hope you roll better.
I said, you gotta go fast, but I gotta go check my bonus again.
It's true, because now he's got a bonus from that wisdom pipe.
Hey, look, they're both okay.
Not bad this time.
Okay. Listen.
19, okay.
Acceptable. Spot is only 2 lower. Alright, let's see.
Okay. James being lead in that case, nice. As the 2 of you kind of listen in, it does seem to get somewhat almost like the city gets a little bit quieter. You also begin to notice that there's a bit more snow kind of beginning to pour down on the city. It seems to be getting a little bit more heavy. The weather beginning to chill now to about a nice minus 40 degrees as you feel the wind chill come down. As you kind of listen in, though, it sounds as if Cinder and James, there's almost like a sweet singing on the wind. The sound of what's almost a small chorus begins to kind of join together as the snow continues. And as you look at each other, you notice that each of you are glowing as if similar to the fairy fire spell. As you look at the other people, they seem to be watching you and looking at you, but none of them are glowing as the snow hits them. And Fist kind of looks down at you and goes, "Ah, damn it, Captain."
Yeah, this is the captain we all know and love.
Captain, just tell them that you did that to get their attention. Let's as he whispers that down your ear.
It's gonna be the entire plan.
Oh, he kind of looks up and looks over at Cinder, and as Fist kind of smiles, goes, "The captain planned this, we're good." As he kind of like broadens his chest out, standing up a little bit more.
The false confidence from earlier still carrying me.
I'll just give him a nod while I keep walking flat-faced. I know that's not true, but
You hearing what James just said, and the realization that Fist is maybe not the most intelligent guy. Kind of starting to realize why Rollman left him with you lot.
Look, Fist is a monk. He doesn't have to be intelligent. It's fine.
It's true. As the 4 of you continue walking, kind of seeing that some of the shops are starting to close up. The weapon shop of your brother's local slayer kind of closing its doors as you guys walk past it. As you see what looks to be a young-looking Arctic beard kind of standing in the window, and as he looks at you and makes eye contact, James, he pulls down a shutter, kind of closing off the window. As you continue down, passing a tool shop called Undead Adjustment, you can see that there you can hear the sounds of someone hammering something heavy from the inside. And taking a second, the 4 of you realize that it sounds like they're hammering nails into the door, and almost as if they're boarding up the door.
The intimidation effect is working. It's great, guys.
James, totally not sweating right now.
No,
I'm
too cold for that.
So I'm casting Shield of Faith out of my sash.
That's okay. James, are you wearing a helmet with your armor?
Yes.
Okay, figured you were. As you continue down the street, walking through the snow, the coldness, Cinder kind of under his breath and very lightly moving his fingers as he begins casting. Just to kind of quietly, with the listen check you both gave, you begin to once again, well, I don't think I can actually fail, but you know, in all fairness, I can roll that one. Did not roll that one. As you cast, you hear the same ringing once again pick up on your ears as just for a moment it seems to then dissipate as the spell ends.
They feel active magic. Alright.
Any active magic, it seems.
But only if it's some kind of spell effect, because I've been smoking my magic like the whole time it's been doing effect, and there was no ringing.
As you continue walking through the snow-packed streets, people begin to kind of make almost way. A lot of people begin hanging into the buildings as they close their doors quite quickly. A couple of what looks to be young, small, almost armadillo-shaped like dog-like creatures, seemingly yapping or whimpering at doors as they scratch as their owners refuse to open up or let them in. As you continue walking down the street, you start to feel like a little bit almost of a leper, James. People seem to be doing anything to get away from you.
Look, this has this is a downside, but this is a big upside. We're gonna see anybody coming from a mile away.
It's true.
Also get shot.
As you continue to glow heading up the main street, finally you see the large stronghold at the very end of this almost 4 mile long road, stretch of road. As you this massive golden and silver doors that seem to almost be displayed with great wood, two huge nondescript looking glacier dwarves kind of standing in front that seem to be carved into the mountain itself, each carrying what looks to be a large hammer and having an anvil right in front of them. As you kind of walk up to the what looks to be what you expect to be a massive grand staircase, thankfully is only 3 steps up.
Oh, thank God! I'm tired of tall staircases.
As you walk up the few steps, find yourself walking in and see what looks to be heavy palladium metal or armored snowbeards, glacier dwarves, with their icicle beards sticking out, kind of standing in front of this massive door. The two of them looking bit more capable, one carrying what looks to be a sword and a dagger, the other having a tower shield on his back and a maul on his hip, neither seemingly going for their weapon as they kind of stand there and look over at you, waiting for you to speak.
My name is James Drag Frosthorn. I'm here to see the elder of the Frostbuster clan. I also bring a gift for the Frosthammers.
The guard looks at you. Give me a diplomacy check.
Please, diplomacy. I really kind of need you not to be shit right now.
You know, if you could roll 135 modifier, that'd be awesome.
That'd be 20. I forgot. I hit the wrong button. Damn.
Okay. As you look at these two, and kind of say that one of them looks up and goes, "Oh, that explains the weird magic we were sensing earlier and why our alarms were going off."
Apologies.
Hey, no issues with us. I'm just happy we didn't have to kill an invading army. Usually that's what that signals. Most people don't have enough magic to equal a small army. He looks up and goes, "I assume then you must be Grom," as he looks over at Cinder.
I just kind of like, with my pipe, just look at him.
Oh, the Frosthammers make it an experience or a personal interest of theirs to investigate all members of the Snowbeard clans and nobility. Your name was passed around amongst us as one of potential James's here's allies. We've done our research. And that's also to warn you that we are prepared to kill you lot, as well as, well, there was supposed to be an elf with you, but I guess, I assume he got cold feet, as he kind of, like, the other one kind of gives this light smirk and seems to get, like, try to keep a laugh underneath.
Are these two commoners, or are they low nobility?
You'd roughly guess these probably are members of a lesser clan of the Frosthammers like yourself. Probably lower rank than yourself by a long shot, more around Cinder's own rank, like a knight family, but they look to be a little bit capable. You can give me an appraise check to see if you can guess what level they are.
Oh, may as well.
10.
My appraise is definitely coming through.
James, Rollman's been doing the work for you for years of eyeing up potential threats. You're kind of rusty, but as you look in these two over, they don't seem to have normal weapons, and their gear, as you kind of get a quick check, is all +2 items, as well as you can tell the dagger on the one individual's hip is a +5 artifact. That is a very rare item that you would only see in a tomb. You'd guesstimate these two are probably a little bit more capable than most average guards. Probably equal to Rollman is what you roughly estimate it at.
Okay.
But
he had some other things to handle. I do run a company.
guard nodded and goes, "Hi, well, I've got better things than to stand here and babysit you. If you're here to meet with your grandsire, you are welcome. Under the protection of the Frosthammer clan, you are allowed to walk our streets, but the request has been given, and I'm here to deliver, that you meet with the Frosthammer clan leader before tonight. You would like to understand your interest in the country and where you are in the politics."
I will be happy to give an explanation then to him.
He nods and goes, "And don't worry, your names are not common knowledge amongst the commoners or the other clans. We do not sell that kind of information, nor will we ever dishonor another like that. But while you're here, enjoy yourselves. Note, we won't be taking your weapons, but most of the halls are filled with very capable mages that will freeze you at a moment's notice. The best that our clan can provide," as he slams on the door hard with his gauntleted fist, and you watch as they start to creak open.
Right.
As they do, looking in, it is beautiful, fancy stonework of stone colors you've never seen before. Aquamarine pillars, what looks to be bits of silver and orichalcum worked into the stone, specifically by a master smith. The floors seem to be made of a similar material mixed with lapis lazuli ore to make it the blues pop and expand, as what looks to be a large frosted hammer seems to be depicted in every square, going down as these massive squares, about the size of almost a small or younger frost giant. The halls themselves roughly are about 75 feet wide and almost as tall, as you look in. And James and Cinder, you suddenly remember how almost all Snowbeard nobility loves to have the largest stronghold possible, even though most of them are the same height.
I'm tired of tall buildings.
Every Snowbeard has a size king because I just start walking.
James was walking. At least my buildings are built for her size.
As the two of you start heading in, James, you realize you were not told where to go.
No, but I'm assuming there will be a butler or some form of servant to inform me.
As you start walking down the long hallway, what looks to be lit lanterns kind of lighting as you get close, giving the hallway a glow. You start to see what looks to be sets of armor kind of gleaming, many of them being made of what looks to be blue ice or death ore mixed together, basically sat on armor kits or armor stands, many of them almost displayed as if they were attacking. As you walk down the halls, it is eerily and creepily quiet as you feel what sounds like a coin drop out of your one of your bags and hit the floor, and almost immediately, as it jingles, it echoes along the halls, breaking this weird silence as you lean down to pick it up and put it away. But as the
who dropped the coin? Most of mine are on the ship. Whose is this? Cut the tension a little bit.
As James tries to make a joke looking back, James' fist looks to be on high alert. Melvin is zonked out completely, zombie-like, and Cinder, I imagine, is watching everything as he walks by.
This is the heart of enemy territory for Cinder, as far as he's concerned. Not for James, but for himself.
Yep. As you...
Oh, pain.
Right. As you continue walking through, you start to notice as some of the armor sets start to kind of give way to what looks to be paintings of these glacier dwarves that look to be strong and mighty, shirtless warriors with giant axes. Above them looking to be massive dragon skulls kind of portrayed with different names of ancient dragons long since dead, and many being well known to the Snowbeard culture. As you look up, catching and realizing, James, that Frosthammers aren't just a crafting clan, but also a very notable dragon slaying clan. Though again, more of a reason to be worried as you realize as you think back, there isn't a Frosthammer you can name.
That leads to three ideas. One, deal with the Morans who are playing a shadow game to basically erase them from history. Deal with the opposition of the Morans who can probably erase their names from history. Or they're very secretive. All three are bad. One very much less so.
As you kind of look at these skulls, admiring the cleanliness, Cinder, as you're looking about, you realize this clan's a lot scarier as you start to see the dragon skulls above. Though, as you do note, each of the paintings seem to depict a Snowbeard that at the bottom, their name listed and the marking of them being dead, clear as the date of the battle matching up as only a few days before they died. Kind of catching that, it seems that this clan seems to almost be notable for dying in battle.
Do we see any servants as we're walking?
Not a single one, which is also something that is starting to put an even more eeriness to this stronghold as you continue walking down a single hallway that doesn't seem to have any turns, bends, or any branches off.
I'd like to roll spellcraft if this is an infinite hallway illusion.
I am not Wolf, but fair enough. Go ahead. I've not forgotten that. That was fucked up, and I'm still mad about that.
The escalator.
It's the goddamn escalator I got teased with as L.
You know what? I also have to point out that was used on me in my other game recently.
Hey, fair enough.
23.
Okay. Give me a sec. Alright.
Fucking walking somewhere but not actually going anywhere. Bullshit.
As you look about, there doesn't seem to be any magical runes. You don't sense a magical aura coming off anything in the castle itself directly. The armor and the dragon skulls all give off a minor aura, but it seems to be more of magical effects on the items themselves, not a illusionary spell that you can tell.
I'm guessing alarm in case they try to get stolen, at least.
Well, what you realize is all of them seem to have alarm and a custom locate object styled spell to allow them to be continuously tracked.
Yeah, just something I'd do.
But otherwise, no, the hallway does not seem to have any other magical effect that you can tell as you continue walking through.
Grandsire, I'm here to fucking see you.
Does James, mumble that under his breath?
James is thinking this.
Okay. Yeah, as you continue walking through the hallways, another hour goes by of you walking just down this straight hallway. At this point, James, there's something wrong, as there's no way this mountain was that deep. At least that wide.
Alright.
Stopping.
Where's the secret passageway? I think it's dungeoneering I have to roll for that.
I'll take that or knowledge architecture.
Well, if my grandsire doesn't wish to see me and the Frosthammers don't wish to receive a gift...
James turns back looking a little frustrated as Cinder starts kind of trying to look about the hallway. Let's see.
Alright. Where's the secret way out?
Where's the bullshit?
Let's see.
Because if we're in an illusion, we would have made a saving throw. We would have already been walking for. We would have walked through it like 12 times.
It's true. As you start looking around, Cinder kind of poking at the ground, kind of touching things with your little your walking stick as you poke the walls. Finally, as you find one of the stones in the wall slightly gives a little bit, as you push harder, you suddenly watch as the stronghold almost begins to sound like it's cracking. The mountain begins to shake and the entirety of the building begins to move, and you begin to feel the hallway you're in begin to shift as suddenly a door comes almost out of the walls in front of you, and then about a little bit about 10 feet behind you, and begins to close as you begin to feel things shift, the mountain beginning to move, and almost come to life. As give me 2 balance checks for both of you.
Oh, great! Fuck.
I just got an item that gives me a bonus to these.
Oh no.
No, it's not that high. I might still fail. Especially if I roll like that.
+2, but minus full plate.
12 for Cinder. Oh man, good job, Cinder.
Yeah, don't worry. You're about to have to Cameron roll with like a -6.
Yeah, well, to be fair, James was never known for his dancing feat.
No, I get a -4.
Ooh, that hurts. James, to be fair, you weren't expecting this as you were kind of watching Cinder like tap everything and nothing happening, as you're kind of starting to get frustrated and looking down, and looking for your timepiece amongst your armor to see how long you've been here. As Cinder suddenly taps it, and you suddenly notice as you look up everything's shaking, and as the room suddenly moves and lurches, you find yourself caught off guard as you fall to the ground. Cinder, almost not expecting it, as you manage to kind of push this, the whole suddenly the hallway moving kind of catches you off guard as you stumble a little bit, but managing to catch yourself as you look over. Fist looks to be fine, and Melvin just stands there as if nothing has happened.
I was gonna say, I realized
back up.
I'm technically suction cupped to the floor when not moving because I forgot the spider climb shoes.
Oh, that's right. As the hallway continues to grind, the sounds of what sound like metal gears grinding on each other continue, the hall clearly moving about. A few moments go by as you find yourself suddenly stopping, and as the 2 doors begin to kind of pull back out, you see what looks to be a grand hallway of gold, diamonds, gemstones kind of glittering in every pillar, paintings of grand snowbeards that look to be all very prominent, very noble. Some of them you recognize from the paintings of the dragon slayers from earlier, some that look to be completely different individuals. As you walk in and see, there are 2 hallways at the very end. One on the right that you see has a sign that reads to the castle forge, and the one on the left that seems to have a sign to the throne room.
About roughly what time is it?
As you look down at your little timepiece, realizing you don't actually have a timepiece, you don't know.
Fucking damn it. This isn't the timepiece, this is the coin mold, damn it.
James looks down and sees just a gemstone and goes, I knew that's where that coin came from. I left the watch on the counter again. I do it every morning. No, but as you look down, roughly from what you'd guesstimate, it's only been a few hours since morning, so roughly about like 9 or 10-ish in the morning.
Well, then it'll put it about 1. We have a few hours, so let's go see Grandsire.
Alright.
Well, he might be long-winded, but at the very least we can make him faster by saying we have to go talk to the Frosthammers at some point.
Cinder, as you see James saying this, you remember the head of this clan literally cutting down one of his own sons for talking back to him, and then putting his head on a spike in his throne room. So you look at James and realize James has no idea the horror of what this individual is going to be like.
I just put a hand on James's shoulder. You know he killed his own son because he spoke out of turn, right?
Should we start with the Frosthammers then?
I'm just saying you should really only say what has to be said when you have a meeting with him, and only when he expects you.
All right. Hopefully this won't take too long then.
As Cinder seems to kind of give you a knowing glance or nod after that, as the four of you kind of continue down towards the Castle Forge, where I assume James is guesstimating this individual to be.
Most likely, if not, then gonna be turned back and walk into the freaking king's room, I guess.
True. As you
Or at
head
least Lord of
down,
the Lands.
seeing the large stone dwarves, yes, the dwarves as doors. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, the large stone doors that seem to almost open up as you walk closer to them, opening into what looks to be this beautiful cavern with sparkling diamonds, what looks to be iron and silver, almost shining in the walls. A long and what looks to be very powerful river seemingly going down the center of this open cavern, keeping the room just damp enough to allow for the continuous working of metal as you see a few young snowbeards of what look to be glacier origin kind of walking over to the river and quenching blades and armor as they head back over to a long line of anvils and forges that seem to be dotted along the walls. Almost about 35 forges that you count, as well as what looks to be at the center of the room and where the water seems to be boiling up from. Looks to be a massive grand forge that you can see a dragon's skull almost set into the forge as fire breathes out of it, and can smell the acrid scent of dragon's breath in the air as you kind of catch it. Looking up, you see about a 3-foot tall, almost insanely muscled and ripped Snowbeard with a long beard that seems to be slightly on fire as it just sits in the on the side of the forge. It seems to wrap around the entirety of the forge up there as what looks to be a very old and grizzled, wrinkled face kind of looks down as he hammers into a blade, the sounds of it singing almost immediately causing each of you to feel as if you are back home and remembering a fond and confident memory, something that makes you feel powerful. As the sound continues to sing off, a staff kind of sits off to the side that seems to be made of a gnarled black wood with a bright ruby gemstone at the tip of it. The individual kind of, as the doors fully open and as the four of you walk in, immediately stops and the entire forge almost goes dead silent as the other glacier beards kind of look about and look over at you and kind of most of them also shirtless, just standing there sweating as they wait. And you see the old man kind of stand up, look down at you, kind of glare, look over at Cinder and give a bit of an angry looking glare that he does not hide, and then speaks out in Dwarvish. That is quiet, but yet seems to echo amongst the entirety of the forge as he goes, "Youngins, take rest. I must speak with the one who thinks he's got the chance to take my spot." As the voice kind of carries on, the young glacier beards all kind of nod and seem to give a bow towards the old man, and then look over towards James and Cinder, and you bow towards you lot as they head into side cavern or doors that seem to open up as they disappear, giving you lot the room. The old man kind of seems to pick his beard up, drag it over, lightly pat the flame out, and as he wraps it around himself, putting on a dark black cloak of what looks to be black dragon scales as he walks down and looks at you as he grabs his staff, kind of taking his slow time walking down the stairs one after another as he comes down to meet you. He walks over James. You notice his shadow seems to dance. What looks to be two horns seem to stick out of the large shadow, a almost red crimson looking eyes sticking out of it. Not the same as Jakix, to make very clear.
Given what I've heard of her lineage, it's not going to surprise me at this point.
I was going to say, I just wanted to make sure you didn't freak out and think it was Jakix.
No, if it was Jakix, if I even had the inkling it was Jakix, I would have smashed his shadow with an axe.
But as he walks forward, he kind of stops and looks over at Cinder and looks over at James and looks back over at Cinder and goes, "Well, good to see you're not dead, Drum. Although your clan is because of your disappearance."
I'm honestly shocked you're not the reason I disappeared.
I did not say that. I just said that I was shocked about your disappearance. Whether it was my doing or not, I do not know. Maybe I let loose something. Maybe someone heard something. Doesn't matter. You were a worthless piece of lesser filth than most of our clan. Oh, it looks like you grew up to be decent. Maybe one day you'll be worth the title you claimed. James,
Yes?
you look skinny.
Travel.
I can tell. You've been taking after that elvish boy toy you ran off with. I told you he wouldn't bring you nothing but problems, and look what you bring me. My clan being attacked, wiped out because of you. Your mother's clan being wiped out, almost. You know how much politicking I had to do because of you? I lost 2 fingers, as he holds up his right hand, showing that his pinky and ring finger are gone, and goes, because of you. And I managed to keep our clan and our territory only because of that. What do you have to say for yourself, young man?
Leaving was selfish.
I don't give a shit.
But it made me stronger.
I agree. As he kind of like pokes with his gnarled stick at your chest, trying to kind of lightly knock you over. Give me a balance check.
Oh no.
God damn it.
If it makes you feel better, you just have to beat a DC 5. Oh my god!
If you wouldn't have said it.
As he goes to push, and James, like feeling the armor locks up as James tries to stop, like hold stiff, and finds himself leaning backwards and falling over as he collapses to the ground.
James will just stand back up.
James Drageron looks down at you and goes, "Okay, maybe the stronger part wasn't accurate." Kind of
Stronger,
lightly,
not more balanced.
lightly taps the side of your head. It almost feels like he is trying to smack you a little harder as he does. Kind of looks at you and goes, "Well, something smells funny on you, but fine." As he pulls out something off of his hip, kind of uncorks it. The smell of rancid goat's milk kind of almost emanating from it as he tips it up and takes a swig. His gnarled yellow teeth, the few that are left in his mouth, very clearly kind of smell the almost smelling of raw as his mouth opens as he takes a swag, a drink of this, and goes to cork it back up and puts it on his hip as he looks at you and goes, "So let me guess. You're here because you want my throne."
In truth, I just wish to be declared the only heir that you need.
Speak up, boy. You've got to have something between your legs here.
In truth, I'm here only because I'm the only heir that's valued at this point. Itor won't come back.
That's true. He's off gallivanting with giants. I always knew he had a thing for being the smaller of the spoon of the lot. But what makes you think you're favored in my eyes? I'll just wait till another one comes around. I'm definitely gonna outlive you, given what you've been up to. And Grom isn't no exception.
I believe I am skilled enough, at least with this forge, to be declared worthy.
Uh-huh.
Look at your damn seat. I gotta puff my pipe.
That's 'cause you're a quitter just like your father was. That's why you got sold off like I told him not to do, and I mentioned that it would be a bad idea, but the stupid bastard got himself caught up in it too. Your entire bloodline is a curse. He looks back at James.
The pits were fun.
Probably finer than what your father got and where he ended up. James, you think you have a chance at crafting better than I do. Your cousin managed to make an armor made of dragon scale, which did my old heart proud as he lightly taps his chest and kind of starts coughing almost immediately after and goes. Then he kind of catches his breath as he spits down on the ground, a black fluid onto the ground. His shadow almost seemingly going towards it, grabbing it and making it disintegrate as it pulls back as he looks back up at you and goes, With him making that, what are you gonna do? Go kill the Proto-Fiend King to impress me?
Why would I have to impress you when he had assistance?
Well, but he still managed to acquire the materials, managed to put the thing together, finding a forge capable to craft something like that. You know that it's not easy. You need an item capable, such as a dragon's forge, as he points up towards his own up on the top of the
James will
thing.
just smile. I've made things with Dragon.
Oh, I can see the cobalt in you. I can see the fact that you're, you know, cousin is, I guess, the best way to describe Grum, although failure still feels about right. Especially with the smell of that pipe. Hell, I don't think that you are yet ready for what I forge, young one.
I may not be yet, but I'm the most promising we have for years.
Aye.
And with the games that House Venkos is playing, it's highly unlikely very many people will survive it.
True, we didn't. My brothers didn't survive the first time, and my sons didn't survive very well in the wars. The Venkos are bastards, but their backing is gone. I doubt that they'll be much of a threat to me. And so long as I live, I can squirt out a few more of you.
When he says that, I'm gonna look to Cinder, show him the letter that Venkos was set to receive.
Kind of like blink and just pull it out. Hand it to the old man.
Looks at you and kind of shakily as his hands are very old and you see the long fingers. His forearm, though, is bulked. Though there's not an ounce of fat, the skin seems to be stretched to the almost completely across it as he reaches out and grab it.
As he takes it, Cinders goes, "They've lost one backer and gained another."
And kind of looks down at it and goes, "James, I can't read this. I don't have my glasses," as he hands it back to you. He goes, "Read it for me, young man."
I will read out the letter as it states that that Venkos is trying to sell me out to Jakix Morin.
Looks up at
and has my life and basically is threatening my life, even though he gave me a quest, dishonoring himself.
Kind of rubs the one portion of his beard as he hears this and goes, "So, you've made a problem with the cat. Of course you made a problem with the cat. None of my sons seem to ever listen to me when I told them never fuck with spiders or cats. But what do? They go and try and fuck the spiders and try to kill a cat. As he kind of like rubs his beard. Kind of looks at James's helmet and kind of stares for a second, just kind of looking at it and goes, "And you have the backing of other individuals that would be willing to stand by what you've said, other than the ones that are with you?"
I have 3 companies that know of this, along with I have the backing of the Primordial Imperium.
And the Zebral Illithid Collective, I see.
And I have been declared a hero by Regan Utham.
Oh, James, how you remind me of myself. Though by your age, I had already managed to kill Torges's grandfather. To be fair, he was already wounded on the battlefield and had it coming. The bastard said...
Yeah. I blink 'cause I remember that's the guy that got, like, critically wounded sealing away fucking Ogum and died later. Man, not impressive.
James, you feel your helmet kind of slightly shift a little bit as you kind of like lean from one foot to the other. It's not comfortable to be under this individual's eyes as you kind of like look on at him. He kind of seems to stop staring at your helmet and looks down at your eyes again and looks over at Cinder and looks back at you again, kind of ignoring Fist and Melvin behind you and goes, "I am going to tell you, young man, the only way you're going to be able to get this clan's positioning If you manage to convince the Frosthammers to let me go, I'm under contract with them until I die. And to be fair, I am too stubborn to die here, as it would just make my brother's fucking wish come true. And I refuse to let that bastard get one over on me before I die. I'm still in the lead, and he knows it. So,
James will smile at that.
if you can do this, I've already arranged that whoever brings me back alive, to be very clear before you get any ideas, Grom, it'll be the one who is announced heir. I can't leave the castle grounds without this contract broken. Do this, and sure, we have a deal. As he kind of smiles at you. But note that spidery cat is here. I don't know if he's in the stronghold, but his influence is strong here.
He's not
I'd
the
assume
only...
so.
He's not the only of the spiders with strong influence here.
You're not wrong, but I imagine you lot already know about that. The other one is in Hardhelm.
As is someone of mine.
That's not good, James, as he looks at you.
No, it's not, but that means they aren't expecting me here.
He nods and goes, true, and hopefully your compatriot isn't dead. I really hope it's not that elven boy. That other Morans seem to really have a thing for elves.
Wait.
Cinder kind of turns, looking at Fist, and like pulls out his little notebook and starts like flipping through his pages really quickly.
This notebook is not words; it's pictures. There's a drawn fire giant. There's a drawn cat, among other things.
Grandsire, I'll just ask for one hint as to what the terms of your contract exactly were.
I don't know. That was hundreds of years ago now. Could have been something to do with my brother. I don't recall what, though.
I'm guessing there isn't a physical copy currently.
We don't make copies. It's magically bounded. I trained you lot. Well, actually, to be fair, most of my kin are stupid. To be fair, just like your grandfather was, and your father, and all the others before them. It's nothing against you. Your entire bloodline after me was just not capable. You're all incompetent.
I'm going to see if... So it's magically binding. Well, can I spellcraft to see if I can figure out the contract?
Yeah, give me a spellcraft check.
Fucking, I just stare at Grandsire, because I just realized you're telling me there's a third fucking spider in this country? There's 3.
Do you ask him that?
I want to cast the spell, but I'm terrified too.
Yeah, I say that while staring at him, and you're telling me there's a third spider in the country?
Oh, a nest was found and kicked up by the young king. You have no idea, Grum, what's going on, do you?
Great. Actually, I know more of what's going on than most.
Good, so you've heard about the Red Curse.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. I won't have to keep you up on date on that whole situation then. So he kind of looks
Just
about
hope
you.
for a good roll. 24.
Okay. And 24 for you're just trying to do spellcraft for the
Spellcraft to see the contract essentially, because it should be binding him still. Then.
Well, you won't. Dami. Okay. If you want to try and see if you can see it physically.
No, see it as in.
See if there's any bindings on him or anything to denote it. Okay.
The contract, yeah, because that should tell me what his base is.
As you look at him, kind of staring for a moment as you focus, give me a wisdom check.
I shouldn't pull the dagger again. It'd be really funny, though.
No, you should not. You were just told that literally Jakix might be in this castle.
Yeah, but it would have made that so much higher.
Yeah? As you look at this, kind of looking him over up and down, you do notice there are what look to be almost a magical shackle, seemingly surrounding his arms and legs, binding him all the way to the dragon forge that he was standing at. Kind of noticing he is at the furthest he can walk away from what you can tell of the chains themselves. Though nothing on the chains seems to be written, you see some strange markings across them as you kind of try to inspect this spell, but none of them make any sense to you. You've never seen this language before, and honestly, it's
Does
hard
it
to
make
even
sense
call
with
it a
the knowledge
language.
of celestial and
Correct.
infernal?
This doesn't look like a language by any means. It looks like just random markings. However, you do recognize one word. I did actually I'm reading my own thing here real quick, so give me a second here. You do recognize one word. In primitive, you read a female dog written at the very end of it.
The curse word.
And as you look at the rest of the symbols, you start to cue in, this is primitive.
The one time I need Rollman. Damn it.
Just gonna sit back and not worry that I speak primitive. Just gonna hang.
To be fair, James doesn't know that necessarily.
Yeah, no, you've never said you do.
Yep.
I've literally rolled in primitive before in front of you. This has happened before.
Oh yeah, Uncle, I need some translation here if you can see this. As I will sketch down the letters, copying it down.
Alright. Give me a calligraphy check, please.
I don't have craft calligraphy.
Then intelligence.
Well, intelligence. Come on, how good are you rolling?
The one time you needed Rollman for this. Yeah, write down the letters, yep. Don't put it
I'm gonna
order.
make sure they're a little spaced out so that it's not a direct order.
Okay. Good catch, Rollman. He's gotten to know me too well. Oh. Well, Cinder, as you watch, you remember James, when he was a young man, was supposedly was a really good artist. The first few years that you got to know him as when he was like a baby and a young boy, great, talented, artistic child. So you watch James try to make these symbols as grandsire kind of moves around. He is struggling something fierce. Yes.
Can I try to swap it out with Profession Merchant for writing this down? For copying it, since it's just copying a document, essentially?
No, I'd say it's still calligraphy, because you're trying to copy the markings.
As I just see this writing, can I just spellcraft myself to see whatever he's looking at?
Yeah. I will say he does get the female dog down in primitive at the very least, at the very end of it. So you catch that.
I can spell that one.
That symbol came out perfectly fine, like a picture. But yeah, go ahead and give me a spellcraft check as you see where James is like writing things down. James Drageron just kind of looking at you too, like watching you as you do as he strokes his beard.
Yeah. 26. As I hand James the pipe, and I just go, give me a second.
As you look down, a little smoke still coming out of the pipe at it, and read in primitive, it reads, one female hound shall be paid back for the hound you stole from me. I have never forgotten, you sick bastard, what you did to that creature.
I just look at the director. What the hell did you do?
Kind of looks at you and goes with confusion on his face and goes, "Did what?"
I'll look at the script. I see it probably in the air, and I look at him and just go, "Female hound for another, huh?"
Yes. My brother had a problem as a young child. Our mother gave him a hound, and he kept chasing the poor beast, irritating it when it would eat, chasing it off. I assumed he didn't want the creature, so I let it go free. And then I told him that it went to the Happy Farm down the road, and where they had many of the ice cows that would be slit to slaughter. He didn't take it quite well when he learned about what that farm was specialized in, and misunderstood a few things.
I know it's a long shot, because I know the female hunt for another is probably insulting him Is there any chance I could finagle this technically by getting the guy a new female hound because of how he worded it?
Looking it over, this looks like almost to ninth level magic from what you can tell. This and it looks
No, but
old.
I mean, yeah, but what I mean is, can I, because he wrote one female hound for another, if I give the guy a new hound, can I like skirt the contract technically because of how he wrote it?
Yes, but as you look at this, you're with the ancient magic, you're almost 100% sure you're gonna have to provide a creature of the same species and same of the same gender. And given as you look at Grandsire and how old he is, this could be a creature that doesn't exist anymore for all you know.
Well, do you happen to know what kind of female hound it was?
What was it?
A young, well, she wasn't a hound in all technicality. She was this crossbreed we found in the forest. A black dragon had slept with a giant winter wolf that we had been tracking, and they had created puppies. There was 4 of them. We managed to get 3 of them out of there. The mother and father didn't make it. It's actually where I gained the forge from.
Where'd the 4th one go?
Good question. We left it there. I assumed the pup died without its mother to feed on. As we took its body and the father's scales, there was nothing left in that cave to eat. It just ran off, and we don't know where it went.
Yeah, well, that last hound's the only way to maybe get you out of your contract.
Oh, that's not true. You can also just kill all of the Frosthammers. If you wipe out the main bloodline, then the contract is no longer valid.
Uh-huh.
Having them sign a writ of release from the debt would also work then.
He nods at that and goes, ancient magic, but technically anyone who carries my brother's blood should be able to claim to make a deal on behalf.
James will slowly smile.
Any of them.
He nods and goes, yes, any of the members that aren't bastard born, they have to be recognized from my understanding, but if they carry the family name, then technically yes. It's just like, they're one of the few clans that are a bit more open with their leadership. Problem of the Frosthammer curse. They become famous, and as soon as they do, he snaps his fingers, and it makes almost a greasy snap, and you see sparks kind of fly off his hands. Not magical, by the way. As he does this, as he looks over, and then goes, and then dead. Poof. Gone. It happens to every single member of the clan, from my understanding. My brother was no different, to be fair. Kind of shrugs and goes, well, to be fair, I can't remember what he killed. It's been so long. I mean, to be fair, I had to kill a damn bog giant. That was horrible.
James blinks for a minute, remembering how easy they were to kill.
Makes sense. They would avoid killing higher things because they get famous, they die. I mean, but I'll look to James. Sounds like we have options. How do you want to handle it?
Will probably be easiest to get the writ of renouncing the debt that is owed.
If you're planning to, the current Frosthammer clan head, he's an arrogant bastard, but about as bright as a rock. He Kid was good at fighting from what I saw of the battles in the Red Snow War. Put some pretty good pressure on the clan of Hemescus by himself. But I will also say, beyond that, his tactics are charge, and if it fails, charge harder. And I mean, that's an actual quote I heard him yelling at his generals. As he kind of like puts his fingers to his nose, or the bridge of his nose, and slightly rubs it.
Also a creative option here. Are you only bound to the forge?
He nods, kind looks at you, and goes, yes, but the forge won't move.
I would say you are not considering moving the forge, are you? Please.
I am.
That is not how are we going to do without being stopped?
James, my grandson, no, I don't know how far rejected of my blood you are, but regardless, I should mention, You do realize we are miles underground right now. You are is literally in the middle of the Underdark. You can't. If you think we can get out of here in a single stroke of luck, you'd be almost on the capability of Movasi himself. I mean, that would be levels of power I've never seen.
Oh, it cost me an arm and a leg to do it as well. So,
And you should. I lost my arm the first time and stole it back from the dastardly devil.
I'm
I'd
not
have to
losing.
be willing to give it.
I'm not losing my arm a fourth time. I defend my right arm.
Wait, how often do our families lose arms?
It's family tradition.
I'm not
You know
looking
how
forward to that
annoying
one.
it is to reattach an arm yourself 3 times? 2 was in the same day.
That's why we have an entire family dedicated to the druidic arts. Where else do you think we managed to get our healing capabilities? James, you don't think very much, do you? Rom, are you the brains behind the actual operations? Because if you need to speak up now, young man.
He comes to me and asks questions a lot.
And you're claiming to be my heir. As he kind of turns and starts walking back to the forge. You see as he slowly kind of waddles as he takes his shirt back off, kind of setting the cloak back over to the side, putting up his staff as he begins to grab his hammer, made of solid adamantine, roughly looking to be around their weight, about 185 pounds by itself, as he takes out a blade and slams it down, and looks down at you, James, as the fire starts to breathe from the dragon's forge, and goes, "Alright, be off with you boys. I have to get off my break, and if those young men get too lazy, then they're gonna end up like you," as he points his hammer down at James.
James will just nod as he'll turn to leave.
As you start to walk out the door, you hear one last shout as the apprentices begin to fill in, kind of bringing up a low conversation as James Regeron kind of speaks out and goes, "And James, remember, I was as incompetent as you when I was a young man. I ran for my first fight." As you hear this kind of finish, the door slams shut right behind you, almost as if by a magical effect.
And I'm walking towards my first biggest fight.
That's not true. That's not true.
Cinder just in the background shaking his head as James tries to give himself confidence.
That's not true at all. That's not true.
Wait, what was my first biggest fight then?
James completely loses his confidence and turns back looking at you.
What do you mean? We got attacked by giants.
Well, I still fought, I didn't run.
Most snowbeards don't come out of a fight, especially when they're outnumbered by storm giants.
As Cinder talks
Okay.
about like one of the things that one of the stories Rollman had told him about, almost like basically how he almost
I was
like
there for the
sacrificed.
storm giants.
Cinder
No,
wasn't.
No, I was there for the big one, the raid. We were part of the caravan.
Oh, during the caravan, yes. I thought you were
Because
talking
we
about
were
that first fight with.
outnumbered.
We've dealt with storm giants twice. It wasn't
No,
that
yeah.
scary.
That's fair.
So with the giant ambush of storm giants and fog giants that we had to deal with.
Yes, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't as bad as the storm giants that raided the ship when we first set out. Roman almost
James-
went overboard.
James, nephew, you realize a normal soldier of the storm giant compared to snowbeards could probably kill 20 snowbeards.
Has almost to emphasize the point as Cinder points taps the wall. James, you look up, you see a one of the frost hammers fighting for hill giants, and like their skull is being mounted above, and it is like as below as you read the story, as Cinder kind of points to it, basically says one of the greatest dwarven warriors to have ever existed, managing to take on the strongest opponents a Snowbeard has ever fought. As you look up and realize you fought storm giants that are a lot scary. You fought a mountain giant.
I fought a mountain giant and survived.
As Cinder
Yeah.
looks at you. Go ahead, Cinder.
Is this your first major political battle? Probably. But that's different.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence, Uncle.
Yeah, politics aren't as scary. When you almost die in a battlefield, what's politics? Come on, just look.
So I'm gonna have to see how much it's worth to this guy for keeping him chained. Let's go.
As you four head further in, going towards the gate, the doors to the throne room, two what look to be glacier beards stand there. Immediately, James, you recognize these two as younger members of the last heir of the Frosthammers. Both of them roughly around your age, but both looking to be a bit more seasoned warriors as they look on at you. Their beards a little bit longer, but a bit more grizzled, scars across their face. Both carrying custom weapons and gear, one in full plate and the other looked to being dressed almost in light leathers and carrying a small staff on his hip as they look over at you and begin to open the door as you walk up.
I'll nod respectfully, actually.
As the doors open and as you walk in, you expecting this grandiose throne room, expecting some long and a horrible walk. 10 feet in front of you stands about, and 5 feet up off the ground stands a large golden chair made of what looks to be a mix of gold and platinum. Very little platinum, like small ounces of it to make very clear. As you
I
see
think I know how
this,
to get him.
he has a couple statues to either side that look to be just of the same person sitting in the throne, of made of solid gold, of him standing there fighting off what one looks like a hill giant, the other looks to be a young dragon. Can't tell the skulls and what it is based on the fact that it's made of gold. It's kind of hard to tell, but definitely being a young-looking dragon overall. As you look over to the individual sitting on the throne, he stands at about 4'5", or rather sits in his chair, but standing at about 4'5". A large, heavy maul off to the side that looks to be made of with a solid blue ice, with chunks of death ore carved into it that make it glow slightly a reddish color. Himself, a very simply dressed, simple iron armor that looks to be very well worn and slightly dented. This looks like a actual battle armor. A light cloak that looks to have some sort of foreign, like leopard-like print on the back that only goes about halfway down his back, and what looks to be a bright, bright gemstone dagger on his hip that the sheath is slightly translucent, made of translucent leather that allows you to see the blade made of solid diamond. As he kind of smiles at you, his beard kind of short, roughly looking around, a little bit older than you, James, as you get a look at him. He's a little bit of wrinkle lines in what looks to be his right eye completely scarred over as he looks to be blinded. His hair completely shaved as he looks on at you and smiles. One of the guards behind you speaks up and goes, "Introducing James of the Ironheart Merchant Company, followed by Grom Frostfury of the Ironheart Merchant Company, and their bodyguards and servants." As they close the doors behind you, allowing for the room to suddenly expand as you start to hear gears begin to move, and the the Snowbeard sitting in the throne just kind of smiles at you, a toothy grin, or you start to see silver teeth in his mouth that seem to glitter as the room starts to extend out and he starts to move away, first 10 feet, then 20, then 30, until he's about 50 feet away. A large table pulling up from the ground made of solid emerald, small, what looks to be chairs being pulled up out of the ground that are made of what looks to be a bright ruby gemstone with seats that are made of hydra leather. As he kind of as the table sets out, servants come rushing in and begin to set plates down, and he beckons you with his hand towards the front of the table closest towards him.
Rude to not follow his orders, but I'm going to keep an eye out for he's too straightforward for traps.
I think he's too straightforward. If there's a trap, it's not him, it's Jakex, which that should be concerning.
Yeah, if it's a Jakex trap, I'm not getting away from it at this point.
As you see the Frosthammer banner kind of flowing overhead, as you walk further and further, some of them beginning to plop out of the walls, setting out as the room kind of basically continues to click and grind as statues begin to pull out of the ground, guards that kind of seem to pull out of the ground standing as if statues in fancy armor, though unmoving, begin to pop out. Servants begin to kind of rush through, setting down what looks to be large bits of what looks to be this like armadillo-like creature, served up in different forms, some like steaks, some fried, different tubers, basically like potatoes, sweet potatoes, I can't think of any other tubers off the top of my head.
Fair enough.
As you kind of,
Leaks.
yeah, there you go, kind of looking down as you continue passing by. At the very end, as you finally come up to the chairs to sit down, and the servants kind of run over to pull them out for you lot. The last banners come out, and you see the frost hammer of a banner, basically a large frosted hammer on a white background, as well as to the right you see a black spider on a purple background come down, immediately catching your eye, James. As these banners are about 10 feet in length, they're not small. These are like grandiose, like flags. As out walks looks to be a snowbeard with a bright red beard of almost blood-like color. His skin slightly pale, his eyes glowing red as he stands beside the leader of the Frosthammers. His dark, deep red cloak kind of covering the rest of his features. He stands about 5 foot ish, roughly. As he kind of comes to a waiting point next to the king in the throne, or the lord rather.
Alright.
Go ahead.
What do you want rolled for which one this is?
I
You
remember
know-
you have
I
a
know-
bonus to this because of the
I do
court
have a
board.
bonus to this.
you can give me a knowledge. I guess it's nobility would be the best way to put it. I think that's fair. Yeah, the cork board does give you a bonus on it. You're not wrong. Hey, it came in handy immediately. This was planned by the way before you made the cork board.
I want to know the cork board. All this was all planned. I knew.
He's been waiting.
Justin got a hold of the fucking script for this episode.
Wait. No, I took a bet. I knew when DM mentioned the cork board as a joke. I was like, that might actually help. There might actually be a lot of more ins here. That would be a 25.
25. Okay. These eyes are red, but there's something off about them that doesn't look like it's Jakix. That's the only thing that you can tell, is that this doesn't fit Kaijin, because you know Kaijin has golden eyes, plus Kaijin's already fucked off, so he has no reason to be here.
He won't mess with us now, so...
At least not on purpose.
I'm just gonna do a quick outlawed crossing. We know it's Jakix, we know it's not Kaijin. I know it's not the fifth son. Because he's very,
Well, you know...
obvious.
You also know where the fourth one is, currently.
That's what I was about to say. We know where the fourth is. And I doubt this is, the other one always takes a female form. So this is either my main man, number 2, or number 3, which would be really bad for us. Well, actually, no, number 3 is also... This is 2!
As James kind of feels an light elbow into his side 3 times, as Cinder just kind of gives a light nod and kind of as he takes a seat. All right, but give me a knowledge nobility. Let's see what you got.
I'm going to the bathroom.
Oh, no worries. Take your time. We'll take a knowledge nobility real quick and see what you got.
Is this my main man breaker? Is this my guy? Is this my guy?
Also, we lost a roll, man.
We did.
That's okay.
He probably got...
Yeah. To be fair, he is
who's
driving
on
home, so... What'd you get?
Oh, you want me to roll nobility again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't hear what you got for nobility.
Oh, 26.
26, okay. Yeah, as you kind of look on watching this, so... Looking him up and down, you can tell it's definitely... It doesn't seem to be Jakix, which is one of the first things that kind of flags you, is his eyes don't look right. As you continue watching on, and taking the fact that it's not Kaijin catching your attention, you know where the fourth is, and the fifth would be a little bit too convenient right now. You kind of guesstimate roughly on that. It's got to be the second born, impersonating Jakix for some reason.
I kind of just, like... More like a sweep motion. You know, I'm looking at everything already. I was already going to look at this guy who's walked in.
Mm-hmm.
I just give an overall nod to, like, they're like, I know what's going on, and I just, like, visibly relax.
Alright. As you kind of relax sitting into the chair, James, are you back with us, or do you still need a minute?
Yes, I will be sitting down as well,
Okay.
keeping my eyes on the Lord.
You see Cinder nice and calm, even though he sees the Morans. That's good news.
Yeah, it's a Morin. It's good news that it's a Morin.
James does not look like he sees good news in this situation. As Fisk kind of stands behind and Melvin kind of stands next to him, just kind of quietly watching as neither of them dare to sit down as they see this. As you look over James waiting, the Lord Frosthammer looks down at you and smiles and goes, "All right, you're the famous Ironheart. I have to ask the question." As he kind of like leans forward in his chair, like looking at you, a big smile on his face as his silver teeth kind of glimmering, and goes, "Is it true that you fucked a dragon?"
I knew it. I knew it. I knew this was
Oh god. Sense motive.
Give me a
I
sense
need
motive.
to know the point of this.
I mean,
To know which way I have to swing this.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know he's dumb. You know he's dumb.
22.
As you look on, it looks like he is completely serious, like he is just curious, like this is a legitimate question. You get a weirdness that he might be interested in trying the same or curious about how that worked. Go ahead.
It wasn't sex, it was a wrestle. And then
Oh,
I got knocked out, so I don't know what happened afterwards exactly. So it might be true.
kind of looks at you with an appreciative glance and kind of gives a nod and goes, "I'm impressed. I heard that you had managed to lay with Greg's Martom second in command, and now you confirm it. Respect." As he kind of like steps down and puts his hand out to shake yours.
I didn't confirm it.
Hey man, roll with it. Roll with
I'll
it.
shake his hand.
Yeah, shakes
Good
your
to
hand.
meet you. I do have a gift for you.
Oh, and you bring me gift things. Already I like you more than the last guy. Feel free, as he kind of like turns
take
around.
out the 50 pounds of Hydra scales and the Hydra skull.
He kind of walks up to his throne again, sits back down, looks down at it as you start setting it. He kind of smiles ear to ear and goes, "You really know how to really interest a man. I cannot say I do not appreciate this offer. I haven't seen Hydra scales in quite a while. My grandfather managed to kill one. A nice five-headed thing with fire-breathing abilities. A horrible creature. I think we have its skull somewhere in the living room. I appreciate that, and you even brought the skull too. I thank you for this gift. What can I do for you today, good James? I mean, other than of course not kill you, as our clans are slightly at war with each other."
Yes, it's... That rebel is a bit of a pain, and I was hoping to make this end quietly and peacefully.
"Oh, but I enjoy killing your family. They're so squishy, and they shout such a fine tune when they die. Plus, they're so young, and my men need the practice, and it's an easy win for me."
I mean, I could also have him put on my belt and pull the dagger that just demolishes him.
Yeah, well, the difference is I can pass him the pipe as a show of good faith. It's kind of a weird faith asking him to wear your belt.
Yeah. But anyways, James will just give a slight smile. Well, this is to show that I have no ill will and I'm here to answer the questions you have for me.
I don't have any questions for you. Who told you that?
Your guards out front, as well as you might want to have your city guards that man the front gate educated a little bit on how to deal with nobility.
Oh, to be fair, my men have been fighting and killing so many of your Frostbuster clan that most of them don't look at you as much more than a commoner now. It's kind of, you know the whole issue. Your clan's kind of horrible. They keep getting themselves killed. No one respects you. Things just fall apart.
Well, as I didn't first use the name, I used the name Frostbuster and Ironheart, and they tried to refuse me entry.
Well, I can't blame them. The Ironheart isn't exactly a recognized clan in these lands. So... But you didn't come here to argue with me about politics, not with gifts like this, obviously. What did you actually come here to discuss? Because the war's stopping. I mean, my niece is being married off to a Venkos. My nephew is being married off to a Venkos. I mean, what are you gonna offer me?
How about I offer you peace, prosperity, and a future where Venkos doesn't try to sell you off?
Oh, Fencos couldn't afford to sell my clan off. We're the reason they're keeping up their men, and we're the reason that that dragon is kept off our asses.
Don't be so sure. Because within a day, I will already have one keep.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be suddenly Zebril of the Illithid Collective and have the powers to change the world with my mind, as he, puts his hand out mockingly.
And the little trap that was set in that keep of Hardhelm will be sprung, but I won't be in it. I'll be here,
Trap?
talking to you. Oh, yes. You see, not all Snowbeard nobles are as straightforward as you. They were hoping to catch me, kill me, and then have you off the rest of the clan, use you like a tool.
I like being
Venkos.
used as a tool.
Yes, but why use you in a wasteful way?
I mean, killing Venkos is no experience. Most of them are just casters, and to be fair, they made a weird deal with that damn red cat thing.
Yes, which is another issue to get out of our lands.
Oh, you're not catching me with that. My uncle, who was set to be my heir, got killed for that.
Oh, the older one that was sold off into slavery?
I'm the one who sold him.
It makes sense. Came across him at the markets at one point.
Well, it's unfortunate for you. Now, you're not looking to interest me with this kin talk, so give me a reason, James, my friend. I will respect your gift, and of course your gift has bought you 24 hours within my city. I would not look to see you harmed by any of my peasantry. You have my word, as I'm not that kind of Snowbeard, and my clan gets enough heat as it is. I don't want to be considered a tyrannical and dishonorable man. But I must make clear, you and Cinder, I assume is what he's going by, aren't much of value to me alive, and more valuable on the spikes on my walls. So, if you don't have anything to convince me to work this out, I say save your breath, enjoy my city, leave before the night fall, and find yourself somewhere else.
Well, I tried to convince you. I also will go with this then. I have the backing of Utham, Zebril, and Her Highness of the Primordial Emporium.
Give me a second.
This is an int roll. Will he in that one as well?
Give me a diplomacy check, James.
Wait, the pipe might actually make him go brain dead. Oh my god, I was joking.
Remember, that's a skill check. As you kind of say this, he looks up at you and kind of whistles through his teeth and goes, you see the red Snowbeard kind of lean over and kind of begins to whisper something in his ear. He goes, excuse me, James, I apologize. My advisor wants to speak to me, and like you, I don't have much in the department, as he taps his head. Advisors are what save us and keep us so lively these days. As he just kind of leans over. James, you get the sense he heard the conversation with your grandsire earlier.
Oh, I know.
But as he kind of leans in talking, you can give me a listen check if you want to try and listen in to hear what the assumed Morin advisor is going to be saying.
Oh, this isn't an assumed. This is a Morin.
That's a goddamn Morin.
With Cinder's reaction, that's a Morin. It's not one that's going to directly work against us, though.
At least I hope not. We don't know how he's planning to do his plans.
God damn it, I'm probably not hearing shit.
No.
Oh, don't worry. I could. I didn't get an answer. Am I allowed to listen?
Yeah, this is for both of you.
Oh my god.
Nice. James, as you kind of respectfully lean over and just kind of look at Cinder for any sort of eye signals or contact that he's trying to tell you something. Also, as this is kind of the respectful thing to do to a noble from another noble, trying to kind of give him the privacy in air quotes that you can. Cinder, as you listen in, you hear him whisper. You do speak primitive, correct?
I do.
Cool. You hear in primitive as he speaks, it goes, "This man can be trusted. Though he isn't very intelligent, his advisors are capable of keeping him alive. He is also blessed with luck. He will bring our clan luck if you keep him around. Though be wary, for he will seize your crown if you do not keep that in mind." As he kind of like leans back, leaving you a second to kind of respond or do something. As James just kind of locks eyes with you, Cinder.
I give him like a look of good and bad. I'm his advisor. I'll lean in and whisper to him while they're whispering.
As you are you just gonna whisper what you're hearing the Morans say?
No, I'm gonna make it sound like I'm not.
Okay.
I'm gonna say.
Wait. Do you speak a different language that we speak? Do we share a different language?
I have a lot of languages.
So do I. Celestial, Infernal, fucking. Let me get to my notes. Hold on. They're listed here somewhere.
Okay, we'll figure out the language in a second. As I'll whisper, good and bad odds if I had to guess.
Draconic, Dwarvish, Celestial, Common, Giant, and Infernal. James is well learned.
Yeah, we share minimal languages, surprisingly.
Damn.
I do speak Draconic, so why not?
Okay.
Yeah. If I had to guess, good and bad odds, they don't look aggressive, so maybe better than worse. Probably not going to trust you, but could work out.
Don't need them to trust me, just... James is thinking,
Also,
trust me, need them to let me buy off my ancestor again.
Also, they know they're selling members, but how do you think they would feel if they knew they were selling them to Bossy? As I am obviously baiting and hoping I get overheard.
As you listen on, they don't seem to like stop or anything, but you do notice that both go quiet for a second as the Lord Frosthammer kind of looks down and goes, "Oh, excuse me, I apologize. My hearing is a bit better in these halls, and I must have overheard something. You said something about selling what to what? Something about Mavasi?
Yes. I was
gesture to my advisor.
When I was sold among the many, I'm sure you've heard many of the other clan members of multiple other clans are being sold without their knowledge. I was sold directly to Movasi. It seems the king's making deals in the back with the dragon lords."
Kind of looks over, and you see as his advisor leans down, he kind of puts his hand up and goes, "Yes, I know. Interesting. If that's the case, and we found out we were correct on something." And looks at you lot and goes, as he kind of pauses and like strokes his beard a little bit, almost like he's contemplating if he should speak more. And looks down at James and goes,
I would like to make a small point that if he's doing this to random people at any time, there's nothing saying he won't target his strongest house eventually.
"It's kind words of you to say. I agree that we may be strong, or not the strongest, but we have started to notice weird individuals amongst the castle. Reports, many of us thought they were assassins, but other nobles have been reporting them too." Kind of like scratches his chin and goes, "Would make sense if that's how Uthgaram was managing to get and grab those lower nobles. You, Grom, why did they target you? If we're to be allies, I must know what Uthgaram's interest would be in suddenly members, so I know what I'm guarding against."
You know, your guard said they looked into me. How much? As I'll kind of like to go to take off my hat and let the horns show through. As I kind of like wave my hair out a little bit because I'm not used to wearing a goddamn hat.
Looks over at you, nods, and goes, "I did not know that you had horns, nor that you apparently went to Movasi's lands. We know that you vanished when you were younger. I believe I was roughly about half of what James's age is now when you vanished from the courts, and Your parents spoke of something, your mother said something about debts owed to the crown. I assumed that you'd become like some sort of legionnaire and been sent off to serve in the military as a squire or something of the sort to work off some debts. Not much else was known.
No, they thought I didn't hear much, but really, old ears were lucid enough to know they sold me directly to boss, not even through an intermediary, straight to the king. Ugh, I don't know. Not exactly. Mother and father would have known more, but I'd at least know. The king was very interested in me having horns naturally. And if I had to guess, they didn't like that we were hearing and picking up on things they didn't want people to know. After all, I'm pretty sure they've been dealing with the Red Cat for years.
Nods and as he strokes his beard and goes, "Dragon-blooded, I'm guessing, is what they're looking for." He nods and looks at you and goes, "That means Uthgaram knew about the Red Curse coming. Means Uthgaram knew about Sarazeki's fall. That's strange." As he looks over at his advisor and then just kind of looks back at James and goes, "James, I don't think that we can be allies, but I can agree to a ceasefire. I'll make up some bull about something along the lines of one of your sisters caught my interest, and as a single man, I figured I'd at least entertain an offer. Find some member of your family to make up a bullshit marriage proposal. I'll turn it down, but it'll put some legitimacy to our story."
To do that, I'll have to have the pull, which means I will need my grandsire released.
Nothing I can do about it. I don't hold his contract. I don't know how to hold his contract. He's just worked here since I was a young man.
I smile. I know how to release him.
Exciting.
And I'll only need a short moment to draft up the document.
As he drafts it, I'll explain, because not the most intelligent, should probably make it easy to understand. Right?
I kind of like looking at James a little bit in curiosity.
I'll explain if you don't mind.
He nods.
From our understanding, any recognized member of the house with a written missive of the sorts can free him. It's simply passed down.
He nods.
If you write a missive and you agree with the contract, he'll be free.
Nods and goes, "I see no reason why he couldn't. He's done many years of service to my family. I don't even know why he was bound here, nor what would keep him here so long. I just always assumed he liked us. Well, maybe not me, as I got told I was a wuss and a wimp daily, and that does something to your ego as a young man."
Oh, he read the riot act to me as well.
From my understanding, he does that to everyone.
"He's just a bitter old man."
I nod. This is the first thing this man said that I can fully agree with.
James will nod too. Bitter, but wise.
And wise is a statement that some may share.
James is looking at him as James is still trying to be respectful to his highest elder. The look of "I'm sorry."
Sure, whatever contract you wish to set up. If you can pay for what he's owed, I see no reason why not.
What is he owed?
That's a question you've got to figure out, as I don't know. Last one who knew was my father.
What would I price a hound at?
Can I? Yeah, I can make the wording sound a lot less if you want, Cameron. I can try.
Go for it.
Well, contract was hard to read, and it has multiple interpretations. But from what I picked up, the one who made the contract just considered him a coward for a coward to serve, in a sense. Something about calling him a hound because a hound was lost. I don't really understand.
Kind of looks at you. Give me a bluff check.
Yep.
And this is where we learn Cinder is the greatest liar in my team.
I want you to know I have 3 class features that buff my bluff.
My spy master advisor.
I've never used it before. 26. 26.
26. As you kind of say this, he kind of nods and goes, "A female father spoke of a hound. I always figured he meant like a warhound or something. They're like 20 gold pieces down at the market. Why he cared so much that he'd enslave a man for hundreds of years, I have no idea. But sure, if you can pay for... Take 10 gold pieces at this point, as long as he finishes up training my apprentices.
I'll just pull out 10 gold pieces. That's easy.
Looks it over
I
and
was
kind
gonna
of,
opt for something nicer. Okay, this is great.
like,
Fuck it,
steps down from his throne, walks over
As I
to the...
finish it off, and I will also say to him, "You'll have to prick your finger to make sure it has your blood, but
Alright,
old magic is strange."
give me a
be fair,
profession
after-
merchant.
Yeah. To be fair, afterwards the contract could just be burned. So like,
It's true.
not-
Let's
It
see how
most
well you
likely
do,
will be into
James.
the magic.
All right, Cameron. Show
Do
us
I get
your
a sense that I can cast magic here?
Well, I mean, you've got what you know as one of the highest ranked casters in the world, potentially standing a few feet from you.
Because all I was gonna do is make sure this comes out nice and clear.
There's also what you assume to be Zebril controlling Melvin's body, kind of standing a few feet behind you. Do you sure you want to chance magic in this situation to panic people?
I would say it's not a game of will you be noticed. It's how do you think they'll react.
Mm-hmm. Zebril's just staring at this individual, this Amora, and
17,
watching.
it comes out pretty good. It comes out pretty good.
17. As you write, kind of writing everything up, kind of hearing as Cinder finishes the sales pitch, you kind of scratch out the back of or the front of the contract, flip it over, and start writing a different one. You start putting down.
I wouldn't have put down the specific payment requested for the return. In return, at that point, it would have been the general of I allow him to leave, and then would have probably gotten.
Just having the new contract payment has already been insured.
Yeah.
To make
Gotcha.
sure the old magic is broken.
Yeah, as you sign off, yes, he does, Zebril. As you finish writing this up, you see as he walks over and kind of looks at you and smiles and goes, and pulls out his small diamond dagger and cuts his hand with it, and smears it across the contract and then puts it away and goes, that should serve. And as he takes the 10 gold and like throws it up in the air a couple of times as it jingles in his hand and smiles and goes, he's going to be pissed that he was bought for 10 gold.
Don't worry, I'll break it to him. More than.
As kind of looks, as he sits back down and looks at you a lot and goes, does that conclude our business?
It does. I do hope that eventually we'll be able to work together more peacefully.
Yeah. Keep in mind, you still have 24 hours. Until I receive that proposal, I can't give you more time in my territory.
Oh, we'll be leaving very quickly.
He smiles at that and nods and goes, if you need something of my advisor, feel free to seek us out, but if you can do me the favor of not doing it until after you've dealt with this situation, I'd very much appreciate that.
Aye, and we will take our leave.
He nods.
I'd like to speak to your advisor, but I can handle it after I go break the news to the old man and make him upset.
You see the red bearded dwarf kind of looks up from under his cloak and looks at you almost like with a bit of surprise on his face as he looks on. All right. But as you four begin to head out into the hallway, once again kind of watching as the room behind you kind of clicks and moves, the sounds of things falling into the ground and servants rushing about, as you close the doors behind you, seeing the two guards kind of standing there looking at you in surprise. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break for those who need it. We will be back, though, momentarily for those watching.
I mean, you backed me, but it was a very...
No, that's not what I was asking. Don't worry, that was not what I was asking about, and he's deafened.
He's deafened, yeah, there's no talking to him.
No, I was asking him a separate question, but we return. Thank you all for, well, not patiently waiting, because you didn't have to, but we were. As gotta love OBS is the only editing I can do, or the only editing I will do. But back to the scene as we return once again. As you head into out of the throne, hearing the sounds of the gears clacking and all the tables retracting and the flags going back, stepping into the hallway, you see as you walk down, the two guards kind of standing behind you seem to kind of like smile and Seemingly, one of them seems to salute the younger of the two, recognizing and seemingly having heard most of the conversation, recognizing your nobility. The other seems to still kind of watch on James as you look at him with a little bit of concern, but looks to be less worried and less stiff compared to the younger. As you pass into the hallway, going around the corner and heading towards the old man. Melvin and Fist still behind you as they continue on. As you head over toward or back down towards the forge, you can hear the rhythmic sounds of the hammer smacking something. It's almost beautiful as you hear the song, James, recognizing that this is what is basically a perfect smith, someone who has mastered the art of metalworking. As you kind of hear the doors
Someday
creak.
I hope to make those noises.
Hearing the forge of the dragon making the metal sing, it is a beautiful symphony. To poor Cinder, it sounds like probably, I imagine, the most horrid sound ever, as you hear basically the sound of metal screaming in your ear.
I like the crunching of ice. This is awful.
Yeah, this. Yeah, as you recognize your grandsire Cinder is fucking amazing as a smith. He is a fantastic smith, but you also can tell that this is torture towards the metal that he is working.
Yeah, he's also bad at music, as I can tell, even though it's rhythmic.
Hey, at least James keeps his stuff quiet.
Hey, good news, it's very dwarvish. You know, you recognize the tune from your youth as you head in. As you two open the doors, the sound almost immediately stops as James Dregeron looks down at you two and kind of smiles and goes, "Let me guess, young men. You've bought me for your entire company. I know I was worth it. I apologize, James. You can build yourself up again."
I'm gonna love getting to say this. I bought you for 10 gold pieces.
Stops mid-swing as he shouts Frosthammer at the top of his lungs, and you can feel the fear coming from the throne room as the apprentices start to kind of cower down. You both can't help but coldly flinch as you recognize that same voice from your own youth and running from it whenever you got the chance. Even as adults
That's where that voice came from.
Even as adults feeling that slight fear, you know, just like, oh shit.
It's a slight response, but no offense. I faced some fucking storm giants and a mountain giant at this point. This is horrifying, but not that bad.
You don't know how happy I was to get to tell you that after I made that transaction.
He glares down at him and goes, "I'm taking this with me," as he cracks one of the teeth off the dragon forge and pockets it as he puts his cloak back on. Looks at all the apprentices who are like cowering and goes, "You are all terrible. I've seen smiths better than you with no arms, and none of you deserve to grow beards. The fact that they call you snowbeards is an insult to me and every snowbeard that's ever existed. I hope you all fail and continue to do so. Oh, also burn in hell, Frosthammer," as he like slowly walks his way out, taking a 2-foot step each time. To reference, he has a 2-foot walking speed.
I was gonna say, it's like old man walking like back hunched, hands on his back, like the slow shuffle.
The staff is pulling him forward. As he looks over at you, James, as you go to offer, and he goes, "If you touch me, I will teach you why I gave the nickname the Frosthammer."
I was just trying to get us out of here sooner, because my life's also been threatened.
Respect your elders, little shit. I raised you better than that.
Don't worry, James. You got time. I've got a spider to talk to, or at least what he thinks a spider.
As he like slowly walks. Cinder, give me a spot check, by the way.
Yep.
As I'll inform dear grandsire that he also technically has to finish training at least one apprentice.
I think they're done training. I think this is close to completion.
You hear as Cinder, as you walk away, James gets an earful from him as he goes, "You think I'm gonna train this little shit for 10 gold pieces?" And he starts swinging as James just ducks out of the way.
You know what? I'm tempted to let him hit me, but I know that'll dent my armor. Fucking make it swing.
Cinder, as you kind of head down ahead of them, hearing this going on, You pass by, and as the fortress kind of starts to shift, the hallway kind of moving, as you find the three doors locking in, and changing out from the throne room, as well as the smithy, as well as the hallway you had come down. As the building or as the room begins to shift, it's a lot smoother as you hear suddenly Grandsire in the background casting some powerful magic, and you feel the entire mountain start to grind slowly as you hear him start coughing and go. And that's why the Frosthammer construction teams are terrible. I warned them about this magic. As he kind of goes on swinging still and yelling at James, giving him an earful.
You know what? I'm gonna try to learn as much as I can. While he's yelling at me.
James, you learned that this place is fully built by magic, but by very low-end Warowans that basically used a sort of ice and blood magic to mix together and gave their lives basically to make this mountain into a sentient being. That is under the control of the leader of their clan at all times as a blood thing. As he goes on, you guesstimate by roughly the rough amount of people as you kind of try to poke and prod. He roughly gives you about 1,000 off the top of his head that died doing this. As the room
You're
starts.
right, it is shoddy construction.
As it finally comes to a stop, as the swing goes by James, Cinder, you see the doors kind of stop and open. As you look about, something kind of itches on the back of your neck. As you kind of feel something go there, and as you go to swat it, there's nothing there. As you look about, kind of wondering what was going on, looking back that James is getting yelled at again as the two turn and go down a different hallway. The doors in front of you start to open, and you are welcomed into what looks to be a large kitchen for servants. A couple of tables set aside with no one in there right now. The kitchen itself sounding like someone's working away inside as they kind of dance about. What looks to be a short snowbeard with a bright red beard and red eyes kind of looks back at you as he seems to wave a cook's hat on his head, a little apron on his chest as he's working up what looks to be a large iron skillet over an open fire.
Red-eyed, red-bearded chef.
Mm-hmm. As you kind of...
What do you want?
Okay.
What do you want rolled for the good old Morin check? I know it's been spellcrafted to this point, but...
I mean, knowledge, nobility, or spellcraft, or you can just do an intelligence check to see if you recognize the individual.
At least you get a +4 to it regardless.
Well, yeah, don't worry. With the corkboard, I have a +21 to this roll, so don't worry about it.
As long as he's not smoking, he should be fine. To be fair, James still has your pipe because you never took it back from him, so he's still holding it for you.
Yeah, I'm back to my normal intelligence for
as
a while.
James, you see as your grandsire takes the pipe and starts smoking as the two of you start walking.
That has rosmium leaves in it, grandsire.
As he swings at you and goes, "I know what this is. Shut up."
35.
35. It looks like the same guy, identical to the same individual you had seen a moment ago in the throne room, but it's just you're still not sure that this is Ball, as you haven't really seen Ball before, but you know it's not Jakix. That's all you can tell with those red eyes.
I mean, fuck it. I'll walk over. I'm curious enough.
You head in as he walking past the little what looks to be kind of an armoire set out with different trays of different meats and vegetables that have been grilled. As you kind of feel something again, kind of itching on the back of your neck as you go to swipe at, nothing really there as you kind of smack at it. As you can hear Grandsire and James kind of waiting at the hallway exit for you, as you can hear the two kind of lightly chattering in the background.
If there was ever a magical signal of I am a spider, it'd be a little tickling sensation on the neck of a spider crawling across your neck. I think this is what
James had a feeling on the back of his neck. It was something burning.
That's true. Thankfully, there's no symbol as you look really quickly at Jack's and there you worriedly pulling out a small mirror and angling it. As you walk past the armoires, looking at the food, smelling the delicious smell of like a barbecue mesquite like scent. The meat's looking beautiful, recognizing this frost cow having been grilled, and the marbling beautiful as you look at it, meat falling off the bone. The veggies looking surprisingly well cooked. A couple of colors that you haven't seen of things that you would recognize as like peppers from the surface. That are a little bit more common amongst the dragons, a bit spicier for those who like to eat them, mixed amongst the different tubers that are cooked. But as you head back into the kitchen, seeing the open pit, a large fire set, and this skillet kind of set over a heavy iron, basically pallet that's been set over the fire to kind of set pans and pots onto. He seems to be working this skillet, stirring up what looks to be a mix of a stir fry of some sort of bird-like meat and some vegetables mixed in with it as he looks over at you and smiles and goes, "Oh," as he speaks in common, "I do apologize. I was hungry. I figured I'd make a snack. Did you want something?"
Simply making sure I was right about something. You're much nicer than the others.
Others?
I guess I can start. What's up with the beard, the eyes, lineage thing?
No. Fitting body though. Works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean I understand. My apologies. I thought you meant me personally. The eye thing. That's old magic. Something we kind of gained from our own grandsire. One an equivalency is old. As he looks down the hallway at James, trying to avoid a beating as he's being yelled at about James trying to explain his smithing technique, and he's being corrected on everything.
Please tell me this will give me a bonus to all my craft checks.
I'll give you something after this. Don't worry.
Fucking amazing.
He kind of looks over. He kind of looks over at you and smiles and goes, "But otherwise, long story, too long to explain. I don't think you have that many years in your lifespan left."
I look older than I am. I look older.
Oh, I know. Place though ages you quite well when you're down there. The youngest is down there. He kind of takes the meat and vegetables and plates it and kind of looks at you and goes, "You sure I can't make you anything? My magic is kind of fun with the things I can put together."
Can if you want. Please.
Let me guess. You're a vegetable man, not much for meat? Druid types are never very good with it.
Not a nature druid. I don't mind meat.
Perfect. Snow rock. It's delicious this time of year. I've got some lemons that I found from this furbolg that was coming through the territories. Good man. Very, very tasty stuff. Let's mix that with this as he pulls some peppers down and some what looks to be some seasoning leaves from the troll lands and kind of grinds it onto the plate and looks up at you and goes, "Feel free. Sorry, what was your question?"
I'm just quite curious. Why Tempelis?
I mean, they're an interesting bunch. The oldest is kind of related to us. Made sense enough. Not many of us can't claim our ancestry. Not many of us left, to be fair.
Suppose that's fair. Other than that, just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. We don't really want this land to go up in flames.
What do you mean? I'm not understanding. What same page?
Dude, Cinder is so lost. This guy, half he agrees with me and that I know who he is, and half he doesn't. I'm so confused.
As he kind of looks at you as you watch, kind of confused, goes, I apologize. There's only certain things I can speak on, of course, while we're out and about, as he kind of serves up the plate and hands it over to you.
Oh, I get it. Okay. I'll just nod.
Plus, of course, there's only certain things I know. Books are hard to read, letters are hard to write, things burn up. You know how life can be, as he takes a chunk of the meat and cuts it and kind of takes a bite, smiling as he does, and kind of almost enjoying and savoring the flavor for a moment as he looks at you and goes, "But I assume you have actual questions, something of actual interest, not just coming here to confirm who I am and what I'm up to."
There is. Well, what you said, I don't know if you can answer.
Oh, I
The
can
hell does
answer
the
many things.
What does the cat want here?
You already know that answer.
I do and I don't. He's a confusing individual.
He is here.
I know what he wants short term. I don't know what he wants out of the land in the long term.
He is here for the same reason that he is noted by the knights themselves. Probably to go look for the item that's buried in the tomb. At least that'd be my guess.
Of course he is.
The more curse and more people fall for it, the more the item grows, I imagine. Kind of takes another bite, and then, like, as he's like spitting small chunks of meat onto the plate, onto his plate, looking down, he goes, "My guess is, I mean, the longer this goes on, the worse the curse gets. More people infected. Kind of like the dagger that my compatriot has, but far worse."
Mm-hmm. Time limit then. Well, it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess.
No, it's
Why is the other one here?
other one. There's only two of us. You look for the stars, not for the spiders.
Kind of narrow my one not covered eye. I know the youngest shows up where he wants. I just didn't think he'd be both in a hole, as it were, a castle, and a stronghold at the same time.
He's not. That's a star.
Great. Great. My corkboard's going to get even more confusing.
Looks at you kind of twisting as he takes a bite of the vegetables, hearing James avoiding a smack that, like, actually breaks a pillar. He looks at you.
James looking at it surprised but delighted.
As the advisor kind of looks back at you as he, with a mouthful of food in his mouth, and as he looks down at the plate and goes, "These snow rocks are just delicious this time of year, truly." He kind of finishes off the last of the meat and vegetables and goes, would you like anything else? I'm going to make another dish."
No, as I leave, I'll make sure I'm just going to have to add another section to the corkboard for stars. I can kind of guess what that means. I'm just not going to like it.
Oh, if you need an advice, I'm happy to answer that question, but it's much more helpful for you if you find it out naturally, avoiding the oldest, I imagine.
Oh yeah, last time I found something, the oldest almost stabbed me.
He'll do that. He's very good at doing that. Doesn't like food either.
I have to figure out what chaos is and why they want harmony, and then I start walking away.
Cinder grumbles under his voice, thinking about it, leaving his plate untouched. Walking off as you head down the hallway, seeing James and grandsire talking as the two go on. James, like, notebook out, is like writing ideas down fervently as he smiles, avoiding hits. Fist looks on in shock, and Melvin looks on in a slight fear and a weird and like worry. But otherwise,
James is trying to learn.
So you walk out, Cinder, saying him. You see as James Dragon looks over at you and smiles and goes, "Did you learn anything from the weird fat man?"
Yeah, I gotta learn now stars now and why they're impersonating spiders.
Oh, you've heard about those things. I never understood what that meant. Stars, spiders, hags,
About those at one point.
frogs.
Yeah, I know what they mean. I just don't like it.
And nods and goes, "We had stars showing up all around here a few nights ago. A horrible thing.
The lowest star, the lowest spider, all of them could kill a world leader. It's awful as I just keep walking.
But they're not like Crumps. The Crumps don't stop talking while they kill you." And he like pats James on the back as he's walking there, like lightly keeping up with James, and he goes, "Your father found that one out."
I don't
I
like
found that out too.
The eldest Crump's at least okay. Could be worse.
Oh, he's a bastard and he's cold-blooded.
Yeah, that's why I like him.
Shakes his fist at that and goes, "Oh. But let's find our way out of here. I'm tired of walking. And James, you are too fast, and need to learn to slow down in your life, son. Stop moving. As he starts to wave his staff around, and the red ruby on the top of it begins to glow.
Oh no.
He is going to grab James and Cinder with one hand and turn and throw his staff and smack Melvin and fist with it as he keeps hold of it. As he does, all 5 of you suddenly vanish and find yourself suddenly appearing in a beam of light on the surface. As the old man kind of whizzes over and kind of coughs up a little bit of blood as he looks up at you, Lon, and goes, "Well, that was a horrible idea." Oh.
Teleportation.
No. Blood magic that I learned from a dragon that I tried to eat. By the way, dragons living do not like being bit.
I could have just increased your speed.
Something. As he spits up more blood on the ground and goes, "James, you worship something. Pat me down and give me some of your god's abilities."
I worship magic itself, as I'll...
Shut up and just do it.
I pat him, I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Alright, roll for it.
Let me pull up the Cure Wounds spell, because I'll probably use the... I'll use the first level version, so... So that'd be 1d8 plus my spell. Wrong list. Cure light wounds, there it is. 1d8 plus 1 level, so that'd be 5, so...
Give me a second.
Hey! 9! Not bad.
Alright. No, I had to finish the message. I had to send off real quick. As you pat him down, you see as he kind of wipes the blood from his mouth, and one of the teeth pops back out, and it's almost pearly white as he looks up at you and goes, "Good. Now I'll do that about 1,000 more times, and I might be able to feel my back again."
I can do it 4 more times today.
That was a joke, oh my god. Grom, I think that the entirety of the intelligence was lost with you.
Stop calling me Grom. Stop.
Alright, I'll call you Little Britches like your mother did then.
It's Cinder.
No, move along, Little Britches. Go on. You're gonna wish I could.
James, I might kill him.
Please
don't.
don't.
If you thought you could, young man, you would have when we were in the smithy.
Trust me, I thought about it there too.
Smart. See, I like this one. James, I'm still thinking that he's the one that's meant to be the heir, not you.
I'm the one that negotiated for your freedom.
I know, it's so sad. Why didn't you just kill him?
One, his advisor is terrifying.
Oh, the fat man? Yes.
Yeah. A man that could probably fight most world leaders together. And yeah, probably.
Oh, he's not that strong. The cat's stronger.
He shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah. Of course he is. The two of them got into a shouting match a while back in front of the court. It was horrible. And he backed down like a coward.
The cat. But the eldest said he was the weakest.
Eldest? Kind of scratches his back and looks at you and goes,
But I thought you knew.
"What's an eldest? What do you mean?"
There's 7 of the little bastards running around.
I know there's a cat that has a spider for an emblem walking around. I don't know of any other... we had the little witchling chick. She came through. She's serving amongst the Stronghelms right now. Her and her little battalion are hunting hags.
Oh, great. Great. Okay.
But what do you mean?
Well, I think James has heard me call the cat 7 about probably 12 times by now.
So you're saying he's the weakest of these 7? That's strange. Wonder why the advisor would back down like a coward.
That's what one said.
Huh.
Then
Maybe.
again, the advisor also said he's very limited in this body, whatever that means.
He was really fat when he showed up, to be honest. Like, he was a hefty Snowbeard when he showed up. Oof. They got him down and in shape within a month. I couldn't believe it. Still
Who
eats
knows?
like a train.
He's probably not looking to fight. He must have a reason.
Probably too bloated. As you see, Grandsire kind of like giggles at that.
As we're walking further through the city.
Yeah, he'll keep following. Fist kind of looking about as he does. I'm gonna roll for something here in the background. Oh, hey.
I'm gonna keep an eye out because I'd rather not have Grandsire get shanked or myself get shanked.
That is a 2 for Fist. Okay.
I am so tempted to cast Ice Gates on him, make him go from 2 feet to 32 feet. I'm so tempted.
Continues to slowly move forward. As you get to the bottom stairs of the 3 stairs you had to climb up earlier, James, you watch as it takes him like a good 2 minutes to just get down 1 step. As he slowly
With his
lowers
speed,
himself.
how long is it gonna take us to get back to the ship?
On a kind estimate, maybe the day.
Old man, can I just make you faster?
Looks at you and goes, "If I show that I can move, they'll think I'm capable, and then we have to fight. If they think I can't, they won't attack us, because who thinks an old man?"
Then can I carry you something? I don't want to be walking through the city the entire day.
If you don't wish to do so, just have the big elephant carry me.
I'll nod to Fist at this point to pick him up.
Fist, whose size and has a carrying capacity of 2,000 pounds with ease, will lift him up without issue.
Let's go.
As you lot start to kind of walk through the city passing by, you notice the mini frost dwarves amongst the guards seem to kind of eye you lot up, but the town seems to go back to normal. The ice on the road seems to have vanished. The singing of the wind seems to have kind of dissipated as you lot go through these streets. People are back to going about their business as if it was a normal day. Give me a spot check, Cinder and James, as well as a listen.
So I take my pipe back. God damn it.
I'll hand it back.
Alright. Good work.
Spot 15, listen 25.
Okay.
We'll spot first. All right.
26, okay, for spot.
Listen goes up to a 17.
22,
Well.
okay. Alright, with my mod. Alright. As you two are kind of listening in, the city seems to almost be calm, quiet, relaxed, and very tense. There's no birds. There's no creatures seemingly making much sound. The crunches, the stepping on the stones seems to dampen in sound. As almost in the center of the street, as you all look about, you watch as Jakix starts just walking through the street. Both of you spotting him and hearing as he begins to weirdly whistle. As he begins to do so, twirling his staff, you notice as it starts to glow, a strange black light seems to start to emanate around him, and almost everyone around him begins to freeze. Not literally by cold magic, to be very clear, because I know that could be very misunderstood. Yeah, freeze in time. As this begins to happen, you watch as Melvin, watching this, begins to glare and speaks out, not loudly, but loud enough to point out, "We need to go or kill him now." As Jakix continues walking towards you, staff kind of twirling in his hands, his eyes glowing red, and his noble appearance all there.
You said there's snow everywhere, right, Dim?
Yes.
Is everyone ready to move fast?
James will nod.
Cameron, what's your movement speed?
45 feet.
It's 105. Good luck.
All right.
Neum.
What's fists?
I think I've got him set to 200.
260. Have fun.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Fist, grab me.
I hit 85. I know Melvin's not super fast.
No, Melvin's speed also in this form is going to be slowed down. As Jakix
Actually,
kind
just grab
of
Melvin.
whistles.
Well, Melvin should be fine. He just gained 60 feet of movement speed. I don't know what it was before, but even if it's just 60, he should
Snowbeard, he gets Snowbeard speed, so that'd be him at 85.
Give me a moment. Cause this is going to be I'm just double checking something. I need a spellcraft check. Please, Cinder.
Alright.
And what level is that? Is your spell?
First.
Okay.
Very base spell.
Wow, what's happening? So, to catch you up, Zebril, you can see through Melvin's eyes, Jakix is walking forward and stopping time all around him. Almost as it's leaching out from him and his center staff that he's twirling. Cinder 32. Oh no, wait, are you gonna do? No, don't you PM me the spell, Wolf. I don't want that.
Oh no, it's 3 times.
It's not our problem.
Okay, so that is I do succeed in managing. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. I need to know, are you going to cast this thing? Because if you are, I need to know this for specifically, because I'm looking up an effect right now.
I swear, if we have to watch a battle of 2 epic casters fighting, I am running for my goddamn life.
They are standing in the street of Frosthammer, and they're leaving right now with Grandpappy, of the clan, trying to escape Jakix, as they assume he's coming to probably kill Grandsire. But they're in the middle of a street of a clan that was technically slaughtering James's clan just a few weeks ago. Or a few days ago, rather.
And we can blame this kind of on the cat.
Well, it depends on what, because if Melvin just transforms himself to look like a kobold real quick and Cat suddenly blows out an explosive, no one's going to notice. Or they're going to blame the dragons for that.
You know what?
I'm not. I'm okay.
I'm fine with that.
Look at her
As long as we aren't caught up in the shockwave, I'm good with this.
Well, I'm giving Zebril a second. He's plotting something, so I want to ask to see if he's gonna do it because he has the opportunity, but he's gotta make his decision on that.
I don't think I can counter his time stop at this current point. I'd love to, but
no, but I can set.
Otherwise, because if he doesn't, I will say Jakix will successfully counterspell that spell.
I will say, DM, it's not 1 spell; it's 4 spells in succession.
The one to speed you up.
Yes, it is. I'm casting it on each person. Once I'm blocking one of them, have fun.
Okay, yeah. So he will be specifically blocking the one on Fist.
I don't think Fist needs it, I'm gonna be honest.
No, but to be fair, he is doing that specifically. So I wanted to kind of keep that as a note since he did succeed the check. So that will burn that. So, but I'll give him a second. Okay, all right. As in the background somewhere, powers are moving, but nothing. Melvin just begins to follow after James, kind of getting away as fast as he can.
I'm gonna tell Fist to run.
Fist will nod, and as all of you begin to go, Melvin does not need to roll because of a specific effect, but the rest of you give me initiative checks, please. Also, holy shit, this is gonna be ridiculous for his, so, well, okay, now if I roll like shit.
I am not very fast, but we're gonna see. No.
I will tap Cinder and use the sign from the daggers, making his initiative 20.
Okay. Wait, you're gonna take the dagger out?
No.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Wait. I think the spell effect is specifically on you, is not correct?
Nope. The dagger
No.
states that I can cast it on another person with 10 plus my initiative bonus.
Gotcha. Alright, so Cinder, it's a 20, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Now, yep.
Got you, and then that will be, well, funny enough, Fist beats both of you.
I expected that. He's a monk.
He's a monk with 200 movement speed. I'm not surprised.
You're not by as much as you think. With a 7, I was kind of set. I only got a 24. And then for Kicks, let me roll his thing.
I mean, I'm at a 22. That's not bad for me.
Oh, shit. Well, Fist isn't going to get to go first. That's not good.
I can't use the sign offensively. He's not within touch, and I don't want to touch him. I don't want to get close to him. I want him to leave me alone.
Melvin will start moving almost immediately, and is going to be up at first for his... and he is going to use his full movement speed to get straight up in the air and behind a building off to the side. Which, hey, in fairness, I can't blame him because that's all his flight speed can do for how much I've got on his character sheet. Unless Robert forgot to do his flight speed right.
He's very slow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, wait, 30 feet is not as much as I thought. All right. As Jakix is up, and he is going to activate his artifact. However, I have to do something. Actually, wrong roll. Sorry, that's that would be really bad if that was the case. Ooh! Oh. Ah. Well, that wasn't the spell I was looking for, but that will work. How much HP does he have for hit die? Oh, shit. Venerable lowers HP. Oh, fuck.
Is Jakix about to kill himself?
Nope.
He's not the venerable one, Cameron. Your
As Jakix
Can I counter the spell?
Yep. I need a spellcraft. Go ahead.
Do you have the
Dispel magic from my hammer.
Oh, the hammer.
With it, you haven't
using
moved.
an artifact, I'd argue that it's visual.
Let me double check. Can artifacts be dispel? Artifact effects be dispelled in 3.5? I have to also check my item specifically. You do still have to make with the spell magic, I still need a spellcraft check. Because you have to be able to identify what the spell is in this case, since this is not magic that would normally work.
Well, from what my item says, I can counter a visual spell without doing that. I just have to do the spell magic check.
Oh, it's the visual component. Oh, okay, perfect, cool. This doesn't require visual component. This is a somatic component.
Fuck.
That's why he's got to, as the staff twirls and continues, as I was mentioning, okay. As James goes to looking over, not seeing the spell, unfortunately, do you have anything else that you can do? I'm going to give you a second to look if you need to look over your sheet.
I don't, other than throwing myself in front of it.
That does not work. It is not your action.
Yeah, it's fucking throw my shield, fucking at Jakix. I have nothing.
I know that Cinder is gonna need a second to look, because he's got a lot of spells that he could have, I imagine, to look through.
Oh, there's no spell that can stop this. That's below, 7th level.
I figured he didn't have anything. Okay.
I was trying to stop it with the hammer.
As the spell Power Word Kill goes off, an ancient spell that utters an abyssal tongue, the staff seemingly cracking as you watch the gemstone in the artifact shatter into pieces. Let's see, I have to roll a second thing. Fuck me. Nope. Alright, well, shit. As the entire staff begins to crack and break apart, the only thing left, it looks as you watch, as a single gemstone, a small, what looks to be black tiger's eye, drops to the ground, glimmering as it does. The staff cracks and breaks as the spell goes off, and you watch as over towards Fist, Grandsire James Dregron, immediately looks over at you, James, his eyes wide, and as he smiles, You watch as his body goes limp, his staff dropping to the ground. Ending Jakix's turn, as he is still going...
We can still bring him back.
Fist is up, and Fist, seeing that, is going to fucking run.
Yeah, so long as Cinder and I both get out of this, we can still bring him back.
Fist is going to turn and run back towards the fortress.
No!
And try to smash on the door to get in. As he disappears out of sight, vanishing up in the distance, you can hear as he starts smashing on the door. All right, James, you are up.
Fucking god damn it, you ass!
Jakix, who's kind of looking at his destroyed staff in a cloud of magical smoke right now in front of him. Yeah, as you shout this out, James.
Can I appraise how strong he is at this point?
Yeah, sure. I'll take an appraise check.
Why is that out?
Sadly, you can't use favored in the guild at this point.
That doesn't count for this.
I know that was the joke. Nice! What level are you guys? 8, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rough guesstimation, he's probably about 6 to 7 levels higher than you in capability, although as you look at his gear, he is wearing mostly just what looks to be around roughly the same equivalent as yourself, James. A little bit weaker, more the common, more expensive marketed items of +3. Looking him up and down, you do notice he has what looks to be a dagger that you can see looks to be worth roughly around the 10 million perspective. His armor looks to be roughly around the same amount, and you recognize the dragon leather, though the scales, you have never seen a dragon of these scales before. It looks like it's a black dragon, but you can tell they're not. This could be a dragon you've never seen or something else.
I'm going to smile, actually.
The staff he had, you recognized as Greatwood. The ruby gem, you recognized as just a giant ruby. The tiger's eye, though, you recognized as the core of a dream larva. An item that is only written about in merchant mythos, and they're said to be like an item you can find in ancient clams at the bottom of the ocean that are the size of small cities. Though that's a joke, as most merchants know how no one's ever gone to get these things.
This'll confirm something. This is Jakix that made a deal with me, right?
I mean, he's seemingly attacking. He attacked your grandsire. You can take that as you will.
There's a reason I'm asking, because I'm making sure of something.
Nothing seems
He's
to have
about to
affected
die.
him. Mm-hmm.
If he's the same Jakix that made the deal, he's about to die, because that was in my care.
Uh-huh.
That was mine. He harmed something that was mine.
The man just cast a 9th level spell and killed someone. I mean, if you're welcome to try and convince him. Let me know what you want to do.
Jakix, you're breaking contract.
Okay. As you shout this out,
I'm going to then look at Cinder and run the fuck away.
All right, using your thing, turning and running. That's 35 times 4.
That's 105 times 4.
There you go. Are you just booking it around him? Because he's standing between you and the exit gate.
No, this is the spider's problem, so the spiders need to clean it up.
Okay. So which direction are you running for?
Back towards Fist.
Okay. As you run towards the door, seeing the guards pounding on the door, there's no sign of Fist.
Son of a bitch.
But as you end your turn, standing there with the 2 guards pounding on the door in panic, Cinder, as you watch James book it off after shouting that, Jakix seemingly still standing there looking down at the glittering stone on the ground, ignoring you lot. What would you like to do?
I know what that is, and I want it.
Uh-huh.
I know that has the grandsire's soul in it. I remember Kaijin doing the same thing. I want it, DM.
Are you going to try and grab it from him?
Oh, I'm fast.
He doesn't have it. It's on the ground.
It's on the floor, and I'm fast.
Yeah. All right. If you want to go for it, I mean, you can try.
I do.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
Got what? What do you want rolled?
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I was reading a message that someone sent me at the same time, and it involved ice cream, so my entire mind went somewhere else. I'm a simple man. I'm sorry. But no. I'm trying to think. So let's call it a reflex check. No worries, Ben.
Had to be reflex. Had to be reflex. So that's a
It is
17,
reflex.
right? Reflex. Is that +4? +5. I got better recently.
Ooh, +5. All right.
22.
22. As you lean down, let's see what we got. Let me pull up my sheet for him, because I wasn't expecting to run this sheet. Oh, well, that's not the greatest modifier. All right. Damn. Wow. All right. The dice are with you tonight, Cinder. As you rush up, leaning down to grab it, you manage to get Rise Jakix's hands are going around it. As you turn and sprint off.
So I get it. I wink and I teleport.
As you wait, teleport.
I have in areas with snow. I
Oh.
have 3,000 teleport.
Where are you teleporting to?
Away towards the ship. I'm out of here.
All right, as you vanish outside of the city, teleporting out there, managing to get outside of the walls, and on the other side of the crevasse as you vanish, leaving James inside the city as you take the stone with you. All right. As you end your turn teleporting out.
You got me once with this trick, DM. You ain't getting me twice.
Yeah, let's say. Let's hope that's the same thing. Let's hope it is. Melvin is going to float away as far away up that building and behind it as he can. Jakix is going to go ahead and go. Let's see. Let me check. Alright, well, no, his mission apparatus is done. He is going to go ahead and turn and cast something as he walks and vanishes into a shadow, taking us out of initiative.
James will look at the guards. Where's my Luxodon?
That's what we want to know. He just charged right through. He made it in and then threw the body inside and vanished.
Son of... I gotta go get that body.
Well, I think he's in there with him, but we can't get the doors to open.
I'm gonna look at the doors. How are they broken, or can I push them open?
They don't actually look broken at all. As you look them up and down, it just looks like the door is slightly stuck. The metal looks to have caught slightly.
Can I fix it and open it?
Do you have metalworking or metallurgy?
I have metalworking.
All right, yeah. Give me a craft check for it.
Oh, great! I rarely get to use this. Oh, that's only a +7, but because it's so not the greatest, but.
Now you're getting fucked. As you go to hammer on the door, it does not seem to bend. This strong iron seems to be forged by a master as you kind of try to work at it.
I will try again if possible.
Sure.
As they see me charge up magic into myself as well.
Nice. As you smack into it again, the thing seems to bend, and as the door kind of bleeds open, as you look on the other side and see what looks to be Fist, or well, what would be Fist if he had no meat, no skin, no organs, and was just a skeleton standing there. As you look behind him, and you see the same unfortunate fate to your grandsire.
Do I get a sense that everyone in there is dead or
You
undead?
give me a wisdom check, and I think there's a cleric ability that lets you do that, like sense undead. I think it's literally a spell, like detect undead or something like that.
I can check my cleric abilities.
Don't worry, Rollman. Cinder will give you an update here in a minute. General gist, everyone's dying, Jakik showed up, and the mission's failed.
Turner rebuke. No, nothing about sensing it.
Yes. No, okay, alright. Then yeah, just a wisdom check. As you kind of try to focus your magic, you do not sense, thankfully, any undeath coming from further within, but something seems off as you try to sense there's no magic coming off any of these bones, like everything was devoured outright. As you kind of walk up to them, even the bones of the dragon skeleton or skulls earlier that you had walked past it from the Frosthammer's many accomplishments had still remaining bits of magic coming off of them. It's almost as if the magic off these two was gone. As you look at the bones, they're cleanly picked, not moving. The skin, the clothing. Oh, there we go. The clothing is still there, attached to them, but otherwise, nothing. Seems to kind of give you any clue to what happened. No bite marks, no claw marks. The guards look aghast and shocked.
I look to them and go, report to Venkus that 2 of mine have been killed on his land under his watch within the 24 hours he gave us. As I will collect the bones, store them away, and walk out.
The two of them look at each other kind of confused as you kind of gather up your stuff and start to walk off. As you do, kind of heading down the main street again, as the guards kind of, you see as they seem to nod and come to. Oh, okay. As you kind of take off, leaving them there, they seem to look confused about who to report to as they stand there looking at each other. And as you leave, as we cut to the panel of the two guards talking to each other, one goes, "I didn't know the Venkos were in town." The other one goes, "Neither did I." And as you run off, going down the main street at top speeds, as you do, Jakik's long gone, his staff seemingly gone, the busted gemstone gone, Melvin seemingly catching up to you, as you start racing off down the street and towards the other side of the bridge. The guards seemingly letting you through without any concern as they open for someone else. As you pass by, heading across and kind of seeing Cinder standing out there looking as he walks towards the ship that's kind of been set up as a hideout. Not being able to see it from this side as you kind of look on as you two, or as a lot of you head that direction. As the two of you kind of
frazzled. Yeah. And I'd like to correct him. I wouldn't have said Venkos, I would have said Frosthammer, please.
What was said is what was said, and with confidence comes confidence. As you catch up to Cinder, as the two of you kind of see each other, Melvin's still right behind you. As Cinder, you look down and just see a pile of bones and what looks to be some cloth, some gemstones, and a staff kind of all tossed into a bag.
Yeah, it's about right. Seems about right.
Can you bring him back?
Me? You want him as another race?
We at least need Grandsire back.
They're not going to be able to prove it's him if I change his race.
Yeah, but I also won't be named heir if he's back dead. If I bring back his corpse or bones in this instance.
I'll do it if you want me to. Your call.
Can I estimate what the chance would be that he'd come back as Snowbeard?
0%.
Yeah, not good.
You never come back as the same race. It's literally everything else on the table but your own race that's in the area.
Now, he might get another dwarf-like race, but not a snow.
It looks like I'm going to the Frostbark clan.
as you two kind of head up to the boat. Kind of James a little bit angry and defeated. Cinder kind of thinking about this as he looks at the gemstone. You see as one of the rough bloods kind of stands at attention, waiting for you, like 4 or 5 letters in hand as he stands there.
Can I roll to figure out what the gem is? I want to see if it's what I thought. Jay clearly wanted it. He tried to fight me for it, but like.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a. Do you have geography or geography by chance?
I do have geography.
I'll take
Geology,
that. Or
you mean?
no, I meant geography. I'll take that or nature.
Oh, my nature's way better.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus 14. That's a 7. So 21.
21. As you kind of look on at the stone, this looks to be a soul stone of some sort. As you kind of twist it in your hand, you can tell the green light, and it tells you something's inside of it. It could be Grandsire. It could be, Jakix himself. You have no idea. There's no really way to tell from your knowledge.
Hey, James, what a thing.
All right, could you send a message to Frosthammer that we just met that Fist and Grandsire were killed in his city? I think I had a slip of the tongue.
Is he carrying any sand? Is he carrying?
No.
Then no. No, I cannot. Yeah, Cameron, it's not perfect. The person has to be carrying or being near sand of some kind for me to send that spell. It's why I have you and
Then
carrying.
I'm going to have to go back into the city to correct the slip of the tongue.
Or you could write a letter. I could take it. I could walk up to the gates, hand it to him, have him send it up there.
I will do that real quick. I'll then take a... Would Identify be able to tell me what's going on with this soul stone?
You can try.
I'll identify that if you deem it safe. Also, can you open the letters? I don't feel like being cursed or killed.
It's absolutely not safe. There could be a demigod in this thing for all I know. I just know Jakix wanted it, and I took it. That's all.
Problems. As James will quickly write a letter stating the proper thing and apologizing for the slip of the tongue due to the situation.
That's fair.
I can go with the letters.
Yeah, as you kick the letters off Rough Blood, you get... The first one reads, the city has been secured. Ardhelm was a lot easier than we thought. Losing only about half of our forces, we managed to secure 1,500 men without a single one of them dying. Most of what I expect to be of the deaths were most likely caused by Pierre or the creature that Pierre's group managed to go up against. I do not know much more than this, and I will report as I learn. And the second letter reads, we have managed to secure a stronghold for the night. We believe that the place will stand. However, the army of 27,000 has managed to surprise us and surround the castle. It seems dwarven honor stands strong here in these lands. I'll write more when I learn. And then it reads last, we've learned that the Morans have signed on with the Stronghelms. There's no need to keep the information quiet over comms. I imagine they've figured out what's going on. I'm meeting with one of their messengers tonight. I need you lot either here by tomorrow, in case this goes badly, to pick up the men, or if this goes well, I might be able to find a champion easier to go against amongst them that is not their leader, as Odger Sr. Is very interested in fighting me. We'll send a letter once I know more. Join as you wish. I do not know if we will be in peril and if they will keep their word. And that's the last message you get, Cinder, as you look through them.
Well, I guess we have our next location to go to. I'll just look to James.
Oh, headaches and a half are coming my way. Get ready to move out, everybody.
You decided to be famous. You knew this would be a headache.
They nod as the rest of you kind of begin to get your gear and get ready.
I make sure the letter goes out first before we even leave, because I'm not having I'm not having Frosthammer get pissy with me later about this.
But the Standerson scouts left behind is sent off to go help out, or to go run the letter in, as you and Cinder as well as the bones that you've collected, kind of head towards your ship and begin to ready the crew to head out. We will cut here as the party begins to head for Hearthelm next. We hope you all enjoyed. We know we did. We thank you all for watching, and we will let you know what happens next time. See you then!